It's always okay. We've done that thing again where we're gonna be started, but it's just gonna be me ranting about completely inane shit. Whilst I just
Yeah, it started from when you said it started.
that's actually quite good. Don't actually don't usually
So you
get that
basically
good.
just said it started ranting about completely inane shit. So good start.
Cool. I'll take that. That's good.
Oh
Right.
right, yeah, I should like post like we're live.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, I'll get
Cool.
there eventually. Not with it today.
It's fine. It's just scrims.
Exactly.
Swap that on.
Casting.
Cool. Okay. So, Guardians of the Rift and Might Ursus? Is it Ursus or Ursus? Because I'm actually not too sure. I might just go with MU.
For them, you. They got
Yeah.
some questions for them. Ooh. So they're basically
Yeah, I mean, we've seen GOTR before.
seen
They
GOTR.
finally got drafted.
Yep, they got drafted into a bracket where they are by far the lowest ranked players. So they're trying to get a scrim in with some higher ranked players. Um, Notice that there's some diamonds in order to like um, test themselves, see how they think they'll do.
Yeah, so actually, if I swap to the client cam right now, we can see that for a start, that the teams are the wrong way around. I've got GOTR in blue. Let's pop them over to red, and Might Ursus are on blue. Here we go. So yeah, we can see that we've got 2 diamonds on the side of Might Ursus and 3 golds in comparison to the 2 flat 3 gold. So yeah,
I
there's a
mean,
bit of a discrepancy in
uh,
the teams here.
of course, it does show their flex ranks, of course. So you've got to be very careful. It goes, I think it goes by flex first.
It goes by your highest. So if you're like
Oh no, they've got some
gold
subs.
flex or
They got a lot of subs. Okay, perfect.
how do you mean?
So you'll notice Elfhorn is not playing or playing on
Ah,
a
we've got a different account. It's
different account.
Monoculman.
So
Monoculman?
we
Sure.
had Tacit Berry, Young Wuhan, Elfhorn, Daoist CG, and Gamnile. We appear to be missing Elfhorn and Daoist, and instead we've got Monokelman and Dejusta. Dejusta?
Do you yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah. Uh, so I guess we can run over a little bit of. Actually, do we want to run over picks beforehand, or is that just actively giving them intel?
No, but
Intel's not the right word, but you
I
know what I
think
mean.
we can talk
Scouting for
about
them.
I think we can talk about what we might expect to see, especially from GOTR, knowing that they are the underdogs coming into this. Um,
I
so
mean,
I'd
yeah.
expect them to draft a very consistent strategy to either go very fully on the early game or the late game. Um, if you're drafting the early game, it's a bit more risky. You're sort of saying to yourselves, we know we're going to be able to get ahead and we know we're going to be able to close out. The late game's the slightly safer strategy. You're basically making the bet that they won't be able to close out against you before you come online, overtake them, and your skill level added to your champion's power in the game overtakes their skill level added to their champion's power.
Yeah, you were talking about this before we went live actually about how if it was, you in this situation, you'd be like, okay, draft late because
Draft late. The easy thing to do is you draft a load of late game champions and you say, okay, we're gonna have to give up the first couple of drakes. That's okay. What we'll do is we'll pretend to contest them. We won't do anything which could potentially get us killed, but we'll see if we can slow down each take by just chucking skill shots from a safe range, confusing them a little bit. Uh, hey Russ in the chat. Um, yeah, so confusing them a little bit, seeing if you can just slow down those drakes in a perfect situation. You want to try and be probably less than 5k down by 15, 20 minutes, and you don't want to fall any further behind than that. And then eventually your team comes online and you get your massive swing back.
I
So
mean,
the perfect champions for this, you pick stuff like you pick Ornn, you pick Kassadin, you pick these really late game scaling champions that are gonna just overtake the game when you get to the
yeah,
best
looking
point
at
for it.
GHR's pool, there's definitely the potential for that there. I don't have Natsuki down as much of an Ornn player, but it's Ornn. it's you'll be able to pick it up
It's on.
fairly
It's the champion
quickly.
where if it reaches level 16, you're just bringing about 6,003 gold to your team. So,
Is it 6,000? Wow, okay.
well, each Ornn item is worth around 1,000 gold, just a very basic guess. And you can give each of your team members one Ornn item and yourself too, so around 6,000 gold. Of course, there are some items which are super duper good to get, like Abyssal Mask is extremely gold efficient for what it gives you, and there's some others that are. But yeah, you tend to get around 6,000 gold worth out of those stats. So gold graphs can be very misleading in games with Ornn in.
Yeah, so that's something we can watch out for. As for Eric in the jungle, I mean, having a look at his pool, there's definitely some options you can pull if he's looking for the late game value. Notably, you've seen his Zac a couple times, which I can't stand Zac, but the value it brings, you
Of course,
can't dismiss it.
if they don't want to go for the full late game scaling comp, and they want a little bit more power on their team. Oh, what's this? Yeah, if you don't want to see like the full late game, or you're a bit worried that they're just going to run over you if you draft full late game, you can try and draft one super strong early lane and have them carry you through the early game, or you can draft a strong early jungler which can help gank your lanes, keep them in it, keep yourself alive, and potentially stop the enemy jungler from being able to sneak an early dragon. If you draft that really early jungler, you can even potentially try and sneak that early dragon, and that adds 5 minutes to their timer to get the Drake soul.
Yeah,
Because
like
if
Ornn
you draft the later
Cassidy.
game scaling team, the easiest win condition the enemy team has is get the Drake soul. So anything you can do to slow that down is just perfect for your team.
Each one just being 5 extra minutes to your timer.
For example, we had that game we played yesterday where we gave up an inhib and inhib tower in return for stopping them or delaying their Drake soul, because we knew we just had to get to level 16 and we'd won the game.
I mean, yeah, it worked.
Yeah, exactly. It worked because they couldn't push in any further. They could never get to our Nexus towers that gave us extra minions to farm and added an extra 5 minutes onto their win condition timer.
Yeah. I want to flip over to my Ursas. We've talked a lot about how we expect, Geotar to play this. How are you expecting, my Ursas to play this out, considering,
So, not look too hard into their game, but considering that they tend to be on the whole much higher ranked players, what I would expect for them is to draft an early game comp. When you're into our lower ranked players, you'd expect to be able to beat them in lane. So I'd want to test if my team is able to draft that early game comp, get ahead early, and be able to close the game out comfortably and successfully. So from them, I would actually expect to see them using this opportunity to see how good they are at having the early game scaling comp. Oh, not scaling comps. The early game non-scaling comps that get ahead early, get those early drakes, get their win conditions, and just close out that game before the enemy's scaling starts to come online.
Yeah, and hopefully...
Because we have to remember, is this is a scrim. The teams aren't necessarily trying to win. They're trying to test themselves, see what they can do, try and learn from it. So it's the perfect time to try a comp that maybe you're not good at, and you don't, because this is a perfect game. You don't mind losing this. It doesn't matter that you're higher ranked. If you're
It doesn't
losing it
cost you anything, yeah.
because you decided, oh, let's pick a team comp that falls off at level 6. Whatever, you're seeing if you can make it work.
Yeah. I think hopefully delay should be not too long now. I've just got one more player waiting on. It's just Lazy Panda. He's in the lobby. Not sure entirely what we're waiting on. But yeah, it's not too much we can say pre-game without, talking about how much we've seen Geotar in the past and possibly giving up stuff they don't want us to. I don't know how much these teams have talked about, what they want to practice these scrims, and they might have said, can you not ban X, Y, Z because we want to practice this, or whatever.
Yeah, it is worth noting, from what I've seen of ESDL teams, they're not so clued up on how scrims work. But yeah, usually when you come into scrims, you have some idea of what you want to practice. So generally, you do have talking to the other team so that there's some sort of agreement to practice things. You can have scrim blocks of hours rather than games where you say to the enemy team, you both want to practice the super early game. So when it gets to 15 minutes, whichever team is behind just FFs the game, and then you go to the next game and you practice the first 15 minutes again. So yeah, these are the kind of things you would usually expect to see from scrims, of course, but we're casting these because they're going to try and win the game. They're going to play them out, see if they can win, see how it goes.
And I don't mind that from the side of G2R because, as we said, they're playing these scrims how do we face into the teams that are higher ranked up.
Exactly.
So they want to be playing the whole game. Because, if they lose early, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean the game is over. Yeah. I'm just going to ask these guys what the delay is. Because when everyone was here, I started up. I was like, okay, everyone's here, we're ready. We'll be going soon.
Wait. Still waiting.
We're still waiting. I wasn't expecting. Okay, it looks like we're just waiting for GOTR. They're almost ready, they say. Should we do a little bit of a rundown on champions? Have you got your GOTR notes with you as they are? Probably a bit easier.
Ooh, let me pull up my scouting notes. I'm sure I have them in here somewhere. No, in fact, I don't actually have them in here somewhere, so I haven't scouted them yet. Interesting. But we've played against GOTR a couple of times. We know what sort of things they tend to pick. They tend to have the more bruisery sort of top lanes. They have the tanky sort of engaged junglers. That's their front line tends to be their jungle top lane. That's very common in constructed play because you'll tend to take your tanks from jungle, top, or support. And if you take one from support, you generally want some sort of front line from somewhere else. So top or jungle ends up doing it anyway. So that's not too surprising.
Yeah, so like both Natsuki, Eric, and Lita Panda all have, a decent amount of these beefier front lines in their pool. So like, we know Natsuki, he likes the Set, he likes the Nasus, likes the Volibear. The Trundle is... Okay, I'm not too sure how Trundle top's doing these days, but it could technically be a flex between top and jungle. Because, it's a champion that both Natsuki and Eric both play a decent amount of, both have some good win rates on.
Yeah, I've not... The last time I saw a Trundle top, it lost because it didn't understand how Bramble Vest worked. So I built a Bramble Vest and he went fully in on me after I built the Bramble Vest on Ornn and just died.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, so I can't really say how good it is because the guy piloting it wasn't...
Looks like everyone is ready. And you know what I have remembered today? Champ select music.
Oh!
We were meant to have this last.
I'll just pretend it's playing while my keyboard's playing in the background.
So, with our brand new Champ Select music, we will be in Champ Select. Thank you for the resub. Okay.
So, we're in a scrim. Let's have some fun.
First line going down as Kassadin onto Dot. No surprise there. We talked about how we expected GOTR to be playing this late game. Kassadin is what Dot has been playing recently. I'm just not surprised to see that go down.
Not really surprising. We have scrimmed GOTR before, and I think our strategy against them was ban Kassadin, Silas,
and Zac, I think it was.
Playing Azir every game.
Yep.
I think we let them have the Zac the first game because I wanted to see how our back... I thought it's not too much of a problem, but you guys can't play against Zac, so we're just going to ban it from now on.
Right. Moving on, the Echo ban is actually super interesting because I did do my scouting. So Echo is a pick that... Tasseedberry? Yeah, we're gonna work that out as we go.
Tacit Berry.
Right, plays, as well as the two players who are not here but been subbed out also play. So they liked it top, mid, and jungle, although I think Tessaberry played it mid as well. So we see that going away alongside the Vladimir, which is also something that Doist CG plays, who is of course being subbed out. So G2 are putting a lot of bans into substitute players. Not sure if they've realised this. But yeah.
So Darius is just a very strong, safe, solid top laner. I'm not too surprised to see that banned if you're a high elo team. It's just annoying to play against. Trundle could imply from its ban that they want to pick some heavy AD champions. We'll have to see how that works out, or maybe an AD jungler.
Trundle is also
do well into Trundle.
One of Eric's more favoured picks, holding a 67% win rate on ranked in the season. So Eric's obviously more comfortable with that. And the Morgana will be our last ban. I don't think Morgana was the ban as a we respect this. I think Morgana is a ban as G2 are thinking this is something we don't want to play into.
I think so, and honestly I don't particularly like it. If you don't like Morgana as a champion, you can always ban Caitlyn. The only time it really gets paid is... Oh, and look, so see here, they could have had the enemy lock in Morgana and they'd still get the Caitlyn with another good pick that's good into Morgana, or if the enemy decides to pick Leona, for example, and Morgana was open, they could pick Caitlyn Morgana themselves. Caitlyn Morgana, very disgusting lane right now. Pretty much
so
the reason Morgana's getting played.
I think maybe the Morgana ban was directed as a we want to pick Leona, because Lazy Panda does like the Leona pick. Lazy Panda's got probably like a decently wide pool of good picks.
Potentially, I think we might see an Alistar. Oh, okay, I mean, counter pick yourself, sure. This could be a very interesting lane to play. Particularly safe because Caitlyn's going to be far back for Rakan to jump to, but you are picking Rakan into Leona. That's not where you want to pick Rakan. Yes, just because you saw it in LEC once doesn't mean it's good to counter pick yourself. But we'll see how this works out for them. They'll probably be playing a fairly passive laning phase, I think, for Rakan, because you don't want to use your W too aggressively. Well, I mean, if you get caught out with the Rakan, it could go very badly for you. That's very aggressive bot lane being picked into the Rakan Caitlyn.
Yeah, so I mean, you said it yourself, counter pick yourself. I'm not surprised to see my Ursus just pick this aggressive bot lane and say, you know, this is going to be our winning lane.
Has some very good scaling as well. The Ioriaa is also very good for team fights and just a solid blind pick. This is part of the reason blue side is so strong, because you can just solidly blind pick mid lane. And top lane doesn't matter enough for the counter. So we'll see how this goes. I won't be surprised to see a mid laner locked in here, or maybe jungle.
I mean, you called it before we got into Champ Select. Azir. That came through as soon as the Kassadin's gone. It seems like that's sort of not secondary, just, okay, can't play Kassadin, Azir it is.
Azir's decent into Orianna, more of a best than anything else. I've never really had too much trouble playing Azir as Orianna. But
yeah, it seems much of a fairly even matchup. I wouldn't pick that either way.
It's actually a decent ban. You notice the enemy team has 3 champions which do deal magic damage, so ban out the sort of more AD focused picks that could be picked in that top lane and jungle position. Shen being banned, yep, you can see on the side of Might Ursus, they're banning out the top laners that can have a very big map presence.
Yeah, interestingly, I don't have Natsuki pinned as a Shen player. The rest of them sort of lined up with his champion pool. Shen doesn't quite, so I feel like this is more of a ban in the dark and saying, okay, let's just not even give you the opportunity.
Played some Shen recently. Shen is also just a very good top laner if you want to affect the rest of the map. The other one, of course, is Gangplank, but you have to be confident enough to play Gangplank. And also you don't want to blind pick Gangplank. They do have the counter pick, so we'll have to see what's picked. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like Renekton locked in from blue side as a blind top. I would expect the jungler to be picked here. Something with a bit more early game presence to help pull them through.
Yep, they're hovering on this. It does look like it's going to be a bit of a flex. I expect this to go on Natsuki.
I'd expect it to be Natsuki. That can be flex though to jungle if Something bad's played.
It's something both Natsuki and
AP
Eric
top
play.
laner, I would expect this to be flexed jungle immediately. You don't want to be playing Wukong into Cho'Gath. Holy crap, that's a bad matchup.
Yes, I mean, yeah, as I said, it is both something that Natsuki and Eric play, so the Wukong is the flex pick due to our do give themselves that.
So GOTR have an interesting team comp where they haven't really drafted for the super late game. They get strong as the game goes on, but you're also into Tristana Cho'Gath, who are just going to eventually outdo you. Lisa, it's almost like I feel like the team drafted for Might Ursus is the one that's wanted by GOTR. That's the sort of team comp you'd want, where you have your super late game scaling in your Tristana Cho'Gath. You've got your sort of late game scaling in the Orianna. You've got your Leona, who can still be a really big tank late, and you've got the Lee Sin, who will put you through the early. Ornn, great.
I mean, yeah, you said it. It's 6,000 gold, kind of around about-ish.
6,003 gold if you can make it to like level 16. Wait, 13 you get your own. 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 is when it finishes.
Yeah. So.
I knew it wasn't 18.
But at the same time, it's not. So, GHR do get this, inherent bonus for being later in the game with that Ornn pick and just the item upgrades past level 13. But also, I feel like my Ursus get just more the later the game goes. Cho'Gath stacks, Tristana she's always going to get better the later on with the more items. Orianna I quite rate as a later game pickup as well. It just feels like, yes, GTR have this Ornn pick, but is it enough?
The late game insurance with Azir, whether that's going to pull them through the game, it depends whether the Rakan decides to become the engage late game or to actually help peel for his Azir Caitlyn late game. They can win this if they play it correctly. But that's going to be a challenge to play it correctly. In terms of how the lanes go early, Ornn chose a bit of an interesting one. I would say it's a little bit of a skill matchup. Both champions have that percent health damage, but it's how you can use your percent health damage to outdo the other champion. Would we expect any kills top lane? No. Just straight up no. Natsuki has the unstoppable with W. If you use your W at the correct time, you're not going to get CC'd by Cho'Gath and you can E out. Yes, both Lee Sin and Wukong are very strong early gankers. I'd say the Cho'Gath's in the most trouble, but if you ward correctly, you should know whenever Wukong's ganking in enough time to zone him off with your E. Not your E, your Q.
Obviously,
really
it's a little bit harder to ward for because of that ward hop.
The ward hop, but
still...
again, Ornn is safer than Cho'Gath in lane. He should be able to easily get out. In terms of the mid lane, you've got Orianna Azir. You could try and punish these early when Azir gets to level 2.
So, I feel like level 6 is the big point for mid lane. Because, once we get the Streamer Shuffle online, on that Orianna, you've got Flash. That is your one escape. But if you think Streamer Shuffle with the Lee Sin kick, if at any point Tassabury steps just a little bit out of line and either, Dot doesn't like this.
Interesting thing is, I almost feel like both of these teams would prefer to swap either mid or jungle to get the better mid-jungle pairing. Or the Orianna ball could potentially do better with the Wukong stealthing in. You chuck the Ori ball as he's about to reach Azir, he jumps onto Azir and you get the ult. Even if Azir ults, he gets pulled back a little bit. And you still have your Q on Orianna to go forwards and keep damaging Azir. Of course, you can kind of do that with Lee Sin, but you'll see the Lee Sin coming in, so Azir should never get caught. And on the other side, Azir, I think you're happier Orianna into a Lee Sin than into a Wukong. But, I mean, both are fine. In terms of the bot lane, Leona Tristana might get ahead early. If they don't, we expect nothing to happen. I don't expect Caitlyn Rakan to be killing Leona Tristana.
Yeah, I mean, you said it yourself. They've counterpicked themselves, picking
Counterpick the
Metacon into
support, which is
Leona.
always interesting to see. I was more expecting to see an Alistar. Personally, I think Alistar's a really good counter to Leona. As Leona goes in, you can actually just W away the enemy ADC. They're then forced to attack you on Alistar, and you walk forwards, you Q Leona. You basically nullify her, and if your E's on, you can stun her as she comes out of the knockup.
Right.
You can even see here on the side of GOTR, they've got Cleanse, Exhaust, bot lane. They're not expecting to do anything in the early game.
Yeah, so Cleanse, Identic Thief, Exhaust on Lazy Panda. As you said, bot lane's probably not going to have too much action unless GOTR misstep this. And
Dream's black, by the way.
yeah, it's a leak line. It takes a moment to load it up. And you put a background on that, I think. Yeah, every time it's just... Because my load screen's up, but OBS takes a minute to be like, yes, this application is running. I need to show it on the screen. Yeah, it's just a bit slow.
It's interesting to notice as we have a grasp of the Undying Cho'Gath. Most people prefer to go Glacial Augment nowadays. Personally, I still really like Grasp. I personally, I really like Grasp, especially for the laning phase. People underestimate how much damage Cho'Gath does early, and you can quite often just cheese early kills through it. It gives you the extra sustain when you get towards the later game.
But it's not a Slowgath.
And you gotta wonder into the enemy team, how much worth will Slowgath get you?
So
it's warranty game.
Okay, I'm a little bit slow then. Yeah, with
I'll let you know.
Slowgath, we're in now, yeah. Let's whack that fast forward so we're in time with everything. And let's zoom us out. And it actually looks like we're getting a small, actually, dashing over the wall, but brings young Wuhan over.
No one's there to punish him, so nothing really happens. Because of the support items, no one gets anything.
Yeah, let's actually reorder everyone on the load screen of the champ select screen so they're in the right places.
Doesn't have mana flow band. Literally nothing happened there.
It was just a bit of excitement, just to make us think, oh, is there going to be some level 1 shenanigans? Are they going to punish me for having no SSD? And the answer was no.
If the answer is no, I mean, you forced Rakan to take W early, which I would expect him to take W into this matchup anyway. I don't expect him to take Q. If he takes Q and they hit level 2, the enemy hits level 2 first, which they should. Go in on you, you die if you take Q, so I'd still expect the W. Looks like Azir's coming in for that ward. Gets it onto the Raptor camp.
Important wards to notice. So if we're looking at MU, just the ward in the tri-bush, so they're not wanting to be cheesed. But on the side of GOTR, they have a ward in their own red buff, ward in topside river, ward on the Wraith camp of MU. So they are really, really looking to scout out where young Wuhan is. They want to know exactly his pathing so they can play as aggressive as they can really without being.
And this is quite important, especially for the Azir early, as this is his weakest part of the game, is before he gets that extra dash. As soon as he can QE, he's a lot more of a safer champion.
I'm just keeping an eye on bot lane because I'm seeing if there's going to be a level 2 surprise engage. Here we go. Level 2 is hit by MU first, but they do force Edica Thief's flash straight away just to not get hit by that Zenith Blade. So, that might be something for you, Han, to abuse.
I'm not sure how much you needed to use your flash there.
The damage output from a Tristana Leona. Because
potentially, it depends how much you rely on your support there.
Actually, in the jungle, we do see young Wuhan is spotted out by Eric. And one dash into the Empowered Auto, red buff. Not quite going to finish him. Eric has the under his tower, taking 2 tower shots. Young Wuhan does connect that Q, but he's very low. And
won't die.
It's going to fizzle out.
Overall, not too much really happens. Flash
under
for flash.
50 health that young Wuhan got away there, and the red buff just wasn't quite enough.
Flash and blue buff's going to get stolen. That's still quite important early.
I mean, yeah, that's a good start for Eric.
Yes,
as we do see in this bot lane, Zenith Blade connecting Cleanse Force by Edica Thief, but a lot of damage coming out from Tristana. The bomb won't finish, but the Ignite
is not quite enough.
Is safe.
Yeah, Edeka without the flash, playing
Has
two
no
forwards.
summoners now. So no
Plus
flash,
there
no
has-
cleanse. The next time Gabblit chooses to engage, Edeka Thief has no way out. But
I
actually,
was
seems
gonna
to
say,
like Eric
Russ-
is
oh.
spotted out by Wuhan. Is only level 2, Eric is level 3. Both top lanes are here to respond. Dot is actually going to be here much
Tries to
faster.
fake out.
But Eric will be looking
And
away. A
enough
nice knock-up coming out from
beautiful
Natsuki to secure the
bait.
first blood onto Wuhan.
A beautiful bait from Eric there. Yeah, Russ, this is the first game. There's not been a game yet.
Yeah, it's game 1. We have got scores now. I added scores to the UI, so just on the right side of each team.
Who is favoured? You'd have to say it is heavily MU. Might Ursa's favoured just because of the rank difference.
But actually, from what we've seen, Ioriaa have so much just prowess in this early game. Actually, just seeing engage this bot lane, leaves kind of Nan
nice
up
engage.
onto Wonkaman, but Gawa getting that start onto Edeka Thief does hold him back, keeps him alive, but the headshot coming out does do a decent amount of damage. Stunning Lazy Panda, and just the Q not quite going to be enough to finish off.
And because Edeka doesn't have
Wonkaman.
flash, can't get that kill. They'll push in here. Monarch has to be extremely wary. Looks like he's going to take the back.
Yeah, I think it'd be foolish to not take the back there. There's some heavy trades mid actually.
And
Dot
Dot uses
looking
the
at
Q extremely
It's actually
aggressively.
taking the
He's in
dissonance
trouble.
from
And he's dead.
Tassabury. Flashes from both sides, but the last auto will be picking up the kill for Tassabury.
Yeah, he uses the Q there when he already has 2 Sand Soldiers on Tassabury. So Tassabury is able to just walk forwards and continue the aggression. Holding the Q would be much more effective until Tassabury had already walked forwards or back out of the range.
Just that extra like dash damage from the Q was what Dot was hoping for, but
Well, it's to
actually,
keep the Q in range for the extra auto
Yes.
attacks. You already have
Needed
2
it
of
in
your 3
range.
soldiers in range, so why are you queuing? If they're already in range, by queuing you're just allowing Tassabury to walk out of their range.
it does. We do see both TPs used in the mid lane, so both mid lanes are now no summoners. And you're right, top lane's where the least actions happened. It's been
Tank and
very
tank matchup.
peaceful. So first dragon is an Infernal. Originally we were saying how, you know, we would expect Ioriaa to play this late game comp and then be giving over things to my Ursus. But considering my Ursus have this later scaling comp, do you think that this is actually going to be Ioriaa's dragon, considering that they're actually ahead in this early game? I should see Eric coming in this mid lane, looking for Tassabury, not getting the Shurima shuffle straight into him. Actually pushes him further towards the tower, but the
Tassabury should
Shockwave
be
will catch them
fine
both
here.
out. Yeah, with that phase rush, Shockwave into the dissonance. He's out
Yep,
free. Dot pushing Tassabury towards the tower, as opposed... I'd like to see him push him towards
well, he pushed
his
him
own raid
into
camp.
the lane. Yes, pushing him back over the wall would have been a better option. But that's just something that comes with time. And in the heat of the moment, you can get those things wrong. It's very easy to do.
Yep, no summoners burn, it was just ults for both mid laners, so not a huge investment. It does give Dot that bit of lane pro, so hopefully he'll keep that. I say hopefully unbiased caster. We'll see if he can keep that in his favour.
Well, everyone likes an underdog story.
I do. I find myself always rooting for the underdogs in these kind of games. And it was that game we casted on Sunday. We don't have a disconnect on the side of GG. Ah, no. There's the pause. Support DC. Okay. I've got the chat. Ooh, slightly out of place. There we go.
I can
I meant
see
to
the
hide
chat.
it behind my UI. But yeah, small
Yeah,
pause
people
coming
are
out.
ready.
He has reconnected, so he'll just be finishing his load screen, and then we should be getting back going. Can I actually change?
Yep.
Yeah, so I can look at the vision whilst we're in pause. So, looking at the side of my Ursus, they just have both sides river warded, top side pits with Bushhanger pink, and they've got a vision in at that Drake pit. Otherwise, it's looking pretty empty. Ioriaa have the pink in the top side jungle. Alongside that regular green ward, they really are keeping up this like tracking on young Wuhan, which
Ooh,
you know from the
that's
start
like
of the
he's
game.
in trouble
they seem-
here.
Yeah, just some heavy trades in the top lane. Currently, actually with that
Yes, so-
knockup, Dojo State is getting a nice trade out, but yeah,
I'd
probably
expect any
won't get
time
anywhere.
Cho'Gath's E to be up, he'll fish for that Q into the E combo because E does % max health damage. Ooh, looks like Lazy Panda's having
Another
some real
disconnect.
issues here.
There is the next board's coming out. And it's times like this I'm real glad I have the chat hidden by the UI.
Yeah, I was reading the chat there. Watching Natsuki, quality joke.
Yes.
Let's have a look at the CS numbers. How are the CS numbers doing? You can see
Top's pretty even. See a
top's
small
pretty
lead
even, but
for Eric.
both sort of struggling a little bit. Looks like Cho'Gath's going towards maybe the Frozen Heart first. You do have three champions that really love to auto attack as fast as possible, so I'm not too surprised about that. A little surprising he'll go towards it first rather than second. I'd expect you maybe to try and pick up some sort of small health item first, or something very cheap, just to give yourself a bit of that bulk early, but maybe he's just going to choose to ult the minions. You can see his ult's still up. I would have thought he'd be ulting minions right now if he's choosing to go Frozen Heart first, just to get that extra health.
Might actually be mid-ult, because I can see there's an animation going off from him. Can't quite see what one that is.
Because of where my pause timer
Yeah, where my pause
yes,
is.
I see on the street.
Yes.
Stream.
It could be anything.
I think that's a chomp. It's not
We'll
a
see. I'm gonna look out
W.
for the cooldown.
That could be a Q, but I doubt it's a Q.
Yeah. We'll look out for the cooldown. We do have Lazy Fan has reconnected, so he's going to be going through that load screen now, ready to coming out in the chat.
In terms of gold, in top lane we have a 40 gold advantage for Natsuki, basically nothing. In jungle we have 300 gold for Eric. Wukong into Lee Sin's good early, not too surprising. In the mid lane we have...
It's 10 gold.
Basically
I almost
nothing.
called it 100, it's 10.
Yeah, it's basically no advantage in the mid lane. In the bot lane, we have a 100 advantage for Edeka. And
supports.
Basically
Pretty much
nothing
the same.
for supports.
It's a pretty quiet game, actually. We do actually see Tassabury stepping a little bit far forward into Duo's jungle.
Nice trade from Natsuki. It wasn't an ult coming out from the top lane. I think it was the
It wasn't, yeah,
Q.
we can see that stone caught out. And we do see that MU will be just taking this dragon away.
Yep.
So, next dragon is going to be a mountain, which means we're either on an ocean or a cloud rift. No prize for guessing which one it's going to be. With us casting, it's guaranteed to be a cloud.
Yes. So this is something I've come into recently. I've started to think about it, and I think the mountain drake potentially is better than the ocean drake when it comes past your first drake. First Drake Ocean is extremely impactful, but after you're past that first Drake, I think Mountain might actually be more worth, just because of the pure stats that it gives you. See an engagement in top
that's
lane.
if you're building. Actually, Natsuki forced the
Natsuki's
flash after dashing into
a lot
the
of
flash into the chomp from Dijusta. That's what he was saving it for.
So, yeah, if Cho'Gath is saving his chomp, you can see when he chomps. You can literally check his stacks, and by checking, click on the champion.
Here.
He'll have one
so
stack.
At the one stack right now, and choosing not to stack minions quite yet. And it's paying off. He did get that stack onto Natsuki. Without the TP as well. Although now the dragon's down, the TP is less wanted for objectives. Although it does mean that he can't help if they need somewhere bot lane.
Arguably, he can make a TP play, or he can get a nice back and TP back into lane. But considering how the cooldown on Cho'Gath ult, is it worth saving it for that 1v1 on Theon?
Actually, do you see Young Wuhan is actually in this top lane. We do see
One
that
still
Eric
has E up,
is
she
near
should be
behind. The
fine.
Call of the Fortune is coming out. Misses the dash. An unfortunate headbutt from Natsuki will mean that Wuhan is safe, but some trading is mid lane.
Dot's in trouble. Nice flash from Tassabury.
Shurima Shuffle will be flashed away. Spotting Eric on the side there through that pink ward. Looks like they're ready to leave him, but the flash into the kick from Young Wuhan, but Eric is there to interrupt it, stopping that Q. Shockwave will catch Eric there, but with the damage from the Empowered also, and Dot's Sand Soldiers.
It's an engaging bot lane as well.
Yep, hand down to spot lane, we do see
dead.
They knock up onto Monkman, but Lazy Panda will fall. Monkman is very low. Edeka Thief does flash forwards, jump from Monkman, but it was
is the ult
headshot.
Gaminal actually blocking
interrupting that headshot.
Blocking the Caitlyn ultimate. That's a dead Caitlyn.
It's interrupted with the Zenith blade, I think. But yeah, into that auto power stun. That'll be a 2-for-0 for the bot lane there.
Training well played from Gaminal.
Yeah, getting that stun to stop the ace in the hole, not the headshot. Yeah, saving one was after.
I think it was actually the he blocked it with his Zenith Blade into standing in front
I don't
of
think
it.
I saw it finish charging. Because yeah, if you look at the cooldown of ace in the hole, it's going pretty quickly. So I think that might have been an interrupt. Not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether root interrupts it or not.
But in the meanwhile, we did see that, you know, Eric got away there. It was a nice room down from Natsuki to keep him alive on, what was that, 100 health?
See a slight lead starting to break out for MU here.
Yeah, about 700 gold now.
So
Herald
Cho'Gath's
untouched.
decided actually he was just building the Glacial Shroud for the slight early armor and CDR. CDR, armor, mana, everything you possibly want early. So he's now building into that Abyssal Mask. An extremely strong item, especially for these 1v1s into melee champions. Ooh, Dot's
Let's
just
see Dot
out
getting
of position.
caught out here. Come on. Getting that stun.
Did he not?
Solar Flare landing, but Flash over the wall. Shockwave will not catch him.
Good flash, but having to
It's
play
a little
flash
bit
there
of
is
a
very bad.
slow roam down from Tassabury.
I
But in the
think,
meantime, Eric did pick up that Herald.
I think Dot just forgot that his E would be interrupted by a stun.
Seems they won't connect there. Eric is safe. Yeah, looks like we're going to have a bit of a chill stage in the game now, for once. It's had a decent amount of skirmishes, a kill every other minute already. Dragon is spawning in 30 seconds. Do you think this is going to be a second Drake going over to my Ursus, or is this where Ioriaa have a chance to come in?
It depends on how back timers go down, really. Who has the lane priority and who has the better items coming in. If Tristana comes back with the IE towards the Caitlyn's Storm Razor here, I think that MU should be able to easily get this. We can also see Tasberry has had the power over the mid lane, should still have the power that finished Luden's against the Lost Chapter and Stinger. Tasberry
Although
should
currently
be
Shockwave's not up.
extremely
Shuffle
strong.
is. Neither AD carry will be able to finish the item, not enough gold quite. So it's IE components into the Storm Razor components. But it does look both teams are hovering around this dragon.
Neither
Ioriaa
team.
do have Herald available.
Lazy does have a pink ward, puts it in the bush rather than the pit. So yep,
Dragon
the
started
ward in
by
the pit
ADKP.
will see the dragon.
Actually going to aggro on to MU. Both teams playing this very slowly. I'm honestly surprised to see Ioriaa not go put this Herald down somewhere whilst they're doing this dragon. But they will be starting it. All 4 members of MU are ready and available. Shockwave is back up now. Ioriaa deciding to back away. Dragon will not reset, so
Both
it's down to about
teams.
half health now.
Same smites. Eric's jumping in.
Does get the
manages to
steal,
the
a
dragon.
nice ultimate to knock up, but it's already very low from Welcome's bomb. Falling down first. We do see Gabblit getting that stun onto
Ioriaa
Dot. A
just needs to
nice
get out of
Emperor's
this.
Divide. Will keep the way. Shockwave not quite going to connect.
Good shuffle.
And the other 3 members of Ioriaa are looking like they're going to get away. The ace in the hole will not finish off Young Wuhan.
Nice
a nice
block.
dash back. Tassabury saving him there.
Overall, small win there for Ioriaa. They get their Mountain Drake, and they only lose 1 for it.
Yes. And honestly, quality Emperor's Divide from Dot there. Does get 3 members out of the Shockwave and away alive. So, soul-wise, it's actually going to be an Ocean Soul. For once, it's not a Cloud.
So, very important here. I'll expect to see some nice Drake fights going on.
Yeah, especially if we see 3 Oceans go to the side of my Ursus. The Justice Cho'Gath is going to be an absolute monster.
The interesting thing is, with the Drake Soul, which other dragon would you prefer? You'd prefer the Mountain. The Mountain will keep you live longer to really use that Ocean Soul to its maximum ability. So Ioriaa are in a slightly stronger position in terms of which dragon they managed to get in the early game.
Yes. Herald Time's actually almost up on Eric. We haven't seen him use it anywhere. So I'm keeping an eye out for that to see where it goes, or if it goes. It's a better way to say that.
I would expect them to try and break the
Yeah, it
mid
looks
lane
like he's
tower open.
passing through mid here.
It's just the classic if you're not sure what to do.
There we go. Yeah, it's going to break down.
They won't get this because Gaminel's there, knows exactly what's going to happen.
Yep, is there ready to clear the wave? They're actually going to get a stun onto it. Get half its health
you
down.
can't
So
stop
yeah,
the
just the
Herald,
one charge
but-
onto the tower there. Nothing too crazy.
I think the fact Azir's still struggling to push this Orianna in is not a great sign for Ioriaa.
I think that's the nature of the... I mean, say it again. So if you look, Hasbury has got that finished Ludens. Oh, actually, we do see an engagement from Eric. A nice ult coming out. A flash from Hasbury does keep him away from that Empress Divide.
Good flash.
But
Has ult up, doesn't
steps
use
back
it.
in towards Eric. The flash won't keep him far enough away, and Eric is able to just finish him off there. A slight misstep on his own half. It's a kill for Ioriaa. Let's have a check out under Justice stacks here. Is up at still just the one. Deciding whilst he's in lane to keep the ult available if he does go for the kill onto Natsuki. Not something I've seen many Cho'Gaths do. Maybe I haven't seen good Cho'Gath players. I need to play a little bit of Cho'Gath yourself.
It depends. So it's giving you the extra pressure in lane. The argument is, do you need that pressure in lane? I don't think you do into the on. Personally, I would just take the stacks, especially if you're not going for a build which incorporates a lot of health early on. You just gotta remember, at some point, you're able to take 6 stacks from minions. Just straight up. The earliest or easiest place to do that is during the laning phase. If you can get away with using it when the enemy lane is not going to notice, that's the perfect time. But having it up is a very big tool.
Speaking of top lane, actually, do you see Eric coming in for a roam here? There's a silence coming out, but knockup still will land for Natsuki. Teleport is coming out from
TP's coming in from
Tassabury.
Tassabury.
Eric deciding that is the time to back
Ult
off.
is up. They're not going to go for anything.
It looks like it's going to be an engage in this bot lane, possibly. We do see that Gamal is behind both Lazy Panda and Edica Thief. Hovering on this engage, but it's looking fairly calm. Meanwhile, on top lane, we do have Dot roaming up already. They're looking for the Juster, but in this bottom room, we do see Tasbury and Young Wuhin are there ready for the 3v3 here. The Juster caught up by Natsuki. Unfortunate charge will not go for that knock-up there.
Unfortunate for where he'd put the Q, meant that the knock-up was not going to hit.
There we go, the engage in the spot lane. Cleanse coming out too
Oh,
early for Edica
Cleanse
Thief, but the
used
Solar
early.
Flare will be flashed away from Lazy Panda, popping that ultimate, going for the charm onto Monkaman. Does land it, but not enough damage coming out from the side of GOTR or from MU.
But there's the Ornn's TP.
You guys see
Oh no,
Ace
it's
in the Hole
Dot.
coming out. And that'll be the shutdown onto Gaminal. It's very long drawn out fight. Oh, the Q connecting from Young Wuhan. Emperor's Divide actually helping him out of that tower there. But actually, we're not done in this
I'm not-
top side jungle yet. Is Herald
See
being
what cancelled
contested
Dot's
for?
TP there.
I didn't. Shockwave's on cooldown, so it could be that. Call of the Forge God is used.
Oh yes, it must have been the shockwave. I didn't notice it was on cooldown.
But won't connect. Eric's actually looking pretty low. Tasbury stepping up forward, looking
Ooh,
for
that's
this.
not what you want.
Natsuki is here. They're currently 1v3.
In a trouble here.
Knockup coming out from the Juster into that into that Q dash.
Flash into
And
Cho'Gath
that's the
ultimate.
second chomp stack.
That should
for
be
the
a free
Juster.
Drake.
Yeah, Ocean is up right now.
If you guess the Caitlyn's backed here,
Yeah,
Just
Caitlyn's
take the
base
Drake.
here. But Young Wuhan actually
Wuhan
stepping into the jungle.
decided
Dot
to
and Lazy
invade
Panda
again.
are there to punish it. Flash is forced. The Juster is there to follow up. We'll probably pick up this honey fruit. But in this time that MU have wasted, it's given GOTR a time to come back. Natsuki spawning in 4 seconds. Teleport
Give
is
them a window.
available. You see-
GTR is going to force this dragon if they can, I
The
think.
recall is
Um,
forced by the Juster, but also does have teleport available as
they know-
well.
They know Caitlyn has managed to come back after her back, whereas Tristana has not. So they have much stronger ADC right now.
They do
They
have
might
vision in
try
the
for
pit.
steal here. I think they should
GTR
just give
don't
it up
have
and
vision
take
of
the
where MU are.
take the mid tower. Don't bother fighting this. You're a
So
lot
if they're
weaker
coming
right
in,
now.
but actually this will be secured by GOTR. Younghound will
They
be
lose this.
caught in the center of
This is
GOTR.
terrible.
Monkaman will be able to jump away with that W. And that's
It's a
just
team with
dragon
diamonds and
number
plans,
2.
and they decide to take that fight over a second Drake. I don't understand why they would go for that.
They had
mean,
the
they
opportunity to
get
do the
the
dragon.
mid
Oh, actually,
tower.
the engage from Lazy Panda, but a stun into the shockwave. Lazy Panda taking a lot of damage, but engage coming out from Gammal again. We'll throw him back into the team.
This isn't
That's
a
a very
bad
did pick
fight
up
for
the kill
them.
onto Lazy Panda, but still Gammal is locked in the CC chain. Call for Shot coming out.
Silence.
Silence, but the knockup
Doesn't
will
last quite
land
long
in
enough.
time.
The
Justice
Justice in
now
trouble.
caught in the middle of these sand soldiers. And Dot just pumping out so much damage. Ace in the hole.
Just gonna live.
Not enough. The shield is enough to save him. Do you know what I think we're missing? And I don't know how to do it. You know how after post fights you see in the pro and the like, LEC, they have like a damage of who did the most in the fight, or who did how much. I want to see how much Dot did in that fight.
Yeah, I don't think we can.
It's not something we can
possible
do.
to show that, but
But
that would be cool.
Honestly, so many sand soldiers up the whole time. They were constantly standing in the middle of them.
Yeah, I don't know
free
where
to
that
just-
dragon contest came from. They had the priority on the mid lane. They can just take the mid lane tower. They can give up that dragon, considering that they had a lot weaker champions in terms of itemization right then. It seems like a very strange fight to take.
It's something that you'd
Maybe
see
you
if
can
it
go
was
for
like
the
a
miracle
soul.
steal.
Because
But it's
they,
like-
they went all in for it in a place where they couldn't really.
I don't mind the Lee Sin trying for the miracle steal, but why is the rest of your team standing around there?
Shockwave
It's not like
misses
he's gonna
Dot,
get
and
out.
now actually the rest of Geo2 are going to flash into the
Oh,
ultimate from Eric. We'll pick up both Tasbury and Gamma, but the Soda Flare
Just that
will hold them all in place.
Tastabury's just trying to force way too hard here. You don't need to.
Yeah, the Shockwave is searching out for it, but it's just not going to connect. He is going to output a decent amount of damage to him with the Loons straight into the Oblivion Orb. Interesting to see if he finishes that Oblivion Orb into the Morellos, or whether he uses that Blasting Wand to go into 90% of any other AP items he could choose from. Actually, something interesting to look at. Monk, remember he started with the IE items? I actually turned it into a Storm Razor instead.
So Storm Razor is very good for helping yourself kite and also running down the enemy champions.
It was just that it was the buy of the pickaxe. He's still sitting on it, so he's going to be going for the IE second. But it was went for the IE components first and swapped it out.
It just shows what he's prioritizing. He's prioritizing that peel a lot more. It's not like if he'd had the different items early there, he would have ended up with a different build. He would have ended up with the exact same build if he'd gone for the Storm Razor straight away. It's like a miss from Dejuster there. It's gonna get the E stacks off, but
Yeah, just some slow trading. Actually, it does look like you are looking for something in this mid lane.
so
Like, keeping my eye on Gamal, Gaminal even. Yeah. Actually, look like running up towards this top lane. Natsuki could be in trouble here.
So Cho'Gath's got to rely on his passive here, helping him out because he's gone for that Randuin's, which stats-wise is not an amazing tank item or damage item. It puts him quite a way behind where Natsuki is in terms of build.
Yep. MU do leave Natsuki to himself, but Eric actually in a 1v3 here. 1v4 if you count movement on side there.
Out.
And Gal just getting that free engage, and now Dot will get shuffled away, but the Soulfire will land, get him stunned.
Nice
Shrimp will
blocks.
throw the wall back over the wall, but Shockwave will catch a nice knockout from Lazy Panda, and they're turning this around. Geo2 are with Dot and Edke Thief just left to do free damage. A nice Emperor's Divide did keep them safe, and now the Juster too far forward. A stun from Natsuki into the knockup from Lazy Panda will be holding him still and finishing him off. A nice turnaround from GOTR.
It's like they're just not respecting their opponents right now. They see they got the stun on the Exir, like, yeah, we'll jump on him. He's got his entire team there. You know he's got his entire team except the Ornn there, and you know the Ornn ult's coming in because he's just pressed it. You know Azir ult's up, but what, you're expecting him not to press ult? I think anyone there would press ult. It just feels like the amount of disrespect that's coming out here from MU is really throwing them this game.
Yep, now they've got no vision on this
Go
dragon.
for the steal maybe, but
And Wuhan just not quite got to the end of that Dragon Pit and hesitated on whether steal was right or whether it was okay to let Geo2R get to this soul point.
So you're reaching the point of the game now where Ornn items are going to start coming online. Ooh.
They're going to have to go to Tassibri. They actually had no vision on him there. Do you see Gamal is there on that Leona? Actually, Geo2R just free to get this engage here. Nice streaming shuffle will throw Monkman actually into safety. Edicathief will get picked up by Young Wuhan. Now Eric and Lazy Panda and are all split off. Gamal getting that engage. Shockwave will catch on the two of them. But a nice charm from Lazy Panda will actually pick up the double kill for that duo. In the meantime, we did see that Eric and Natsuki finished off Tassibri in that top side.
Yeah, well, just doing some tower damage. Something I want to point out is Orianna's finished to Morello's. Who's healing? What healing is she stopping on the enemy team here? Rakan's Q? What?
Does Conquering especially to just a caught in a 1v3 here? The chain CC currently is actually getting away close to the tower, but it's definitely diveable from the side of GTR and the chain knockups. Actually, the flash coming out. Lazy Panda doesn't finish it off with that Q. Actually taking 3 tower shots there.
The Q there actually gave him the extra health.
Oh, but Dodd is here on the other side. The push to just step back into GOTR.
Meanwhile, Tristana is just pushing the bottom lane. Decides not to greeting over that tower. I think she could at this point, honestly. You know how the rest of the team is top.
Dodd doesn't have vision in that bush.
So yeah, Morello's is finished, but there's basically no healing really on the other team. I mean, there's some extra healing being built by Rakan now, but as Orianna, are you the one that's going to be providing the anti-heal?
We do actually see Lazy Panda is 1v1ing Monkman, and the ace in the hole will just finish him off. Lazy Panda showing his just prowess on that Rakan.
Monocle, how did that happen?
I'm not sure.
How did you let that happen?
Be,
this feels like they're a bit tilted, MU. But I wouldn't be expecting them to be making sort of these very simple mistakes. Yeah, as I was pointing out before, Morello's, when there's not much healing on the enemy team, just don't. It's not worth it.
Yeah, because okay, if we look at itemization on the side of G2R, I mean, even for Natsuki alone, that's a good chunk of magic resist there.
It's fine, but you're just not doing the damage.
You see Eric going for this engage onto Tassibri. No, it does actually have flash available, but Eric will flash instead. Tassibri, that phase rush will not be enough. We do see Lazy Panda and Edicathief going for this engage onto Gamal, flashing over that corner of the wall. Will actually keep him safe. Yeah, I think a voice off would be much better itemization here. You can see that Natsuki has got the Abyssal Mask. You can see that Eric is going for that Death Stance.
Void, Rabadons, just get the Oblivion Orb, start building your Zhonya's if that's what you want. I don't think finishing Morello's has any real promise for you. And Baron's given over.
GOTR at Soul Point with Baron buff. Soul fight will be minute 15.
And the situation is extremely dire right now for MU. You're sitting far, far down on gold. Look, you're about 4k down almost. There's 4 Ornn items even on the enemy team. So you could expect that to be around 8k down in terms of actual effective gold. Your Orianna has a Morello's, which is also not giving you that much worth.
It's only about 550 gold to put into that Morello's to get that upgrade, so it's not the most expensive upgrade.
Well,
but, it's also...
you have to remember that the blasting one's also part of that. It's actually
blasting one will
gold.
Go into something else though.
Yes, but that's 1400 gold that's gone towards Morello's that hasn't gone to another completed item. Because that blasting one could be part of your void staff. So that's 1400 gold more that needs to go towards your void staff before you finished it.
Yeah, we do see actually MU are trying to get as much just presence in this
3 items on
here.
Caitlyn. Ooh, MU have to play this very well.
And in the meantime, Natsuki in the top lane is just free to start on this tower with the Baron buff as well.
And let's point out,
and there's the TP. That's key coming
we
in
go.
on the side of MU. Does get knocked out immediately by Justin. The Call of Fortune gonna come out. Meanwhile, in the
And
Dragon Pit, Monko
Monocle's
just
dead.
cursed it instantly. Gamamar falling with him. The Shockwave will catch 3, but Young Wuhan will go for this engage. Will pick up the kill onto Dot. But Edica Thief is free to just net away and become that monster that 3-item Caitlyn is.
So Tezberry also doesn't have ult now, so steal's basically not gonna happen. Ocean Drake
It's an Ocean
with an
Soul
Ornn
for
on the enemy team,
GOTR.
with a
The speed pop for
Wukong that's
Lazy
building.
GOTR. The knock up not going to connect onto the Jester. Yeah, they're free to go.
Yeah, GOTR need to horribly screw this up to lose this game now.
Yeah, so
Your Ornn's basically unkillable at this point. Your Wukong's ridiculously hard to kill because he's building Bruiser, he's not building full one-shot lethality.
yeah, especially once he finishes that Death Dance, which is about 1,000 gold away. It's hard for MU to do a whole lot here. But you see pressure also in this mid lane. Actually, engage from MU. Eric using that clone to swim off, but Edica Thief will get caught by the Tristana Bomb. Lots of damage coming out, but Edica Thief falling, but trading it for Monocleman. And Eric just charging that second ult. Huge amounts of damage onto Dejuster was Lazy Panda
too late.
just having a little mood fight on the side. TP coming in from Dot to secure this fight as a win.
Meanwhile, top lane's dying, mid lane's getting pushed in. As you can see, just MU, they had to try and force something somewhere. Was that the right place? I don't
Probably
know.
not. And yep, that's the 1v3. And that's the ace for GOTR. In him
think
falling
I'm wrong.
topside. And they're going to be pushing into that tower bot lane. Still,
Just
Monkman spawning in
done
2
as opportunity,
seconds. There's going to be at least 2 inhibs down here, if not the game. Yeah, it's not a whole lot that Monkman can do to contest this here. Have a look down to this bot lane as this top wave comes in. Bot wave coming in. This is looking like it's going to be game for GOTR. Looking for that expression moment, but he's going to use that jump away. First Nexus Tower falling. The Juster is there. Exhaust popped onto him. A little bit of damage coming out, but Dot doing huge amounts of damage. Monkman will be falling just by middle tower there. Call of Portugal being used. Juster caught in that knockup. And it's popped straight away. Eric there with that second charge of the ultimate, getting a nice knockup onto the Ioriaa and the Ioriaa. And this is it. GOTR just have no pressure onto them. There's just not enough damage coming out from MU that actually they are free to go around this base. Actually, a nice kick from Young Wuhan,
You
but
can
it's just not enough.
see he
The
can't
Shockwave will land,
kill
actually.
Eric. The
And they
Ocean
still
Soul
can't
healing.
kill Eric.
The
The
Ocean
nice
Soul healing.
Empress Divide into those Sand Soldiers. Dot dealing crazy damage. And that's game 1 to GOTR.
Yeah.
Well, I can say that wasn't how I was expecting this to go. But we got the underdog
No.
story.
We do have the underdog story.
Quick MVPs, so the team's going to be waiting for us to go into game 2. For myself, MVP for GOTR. Honestly,
Eric. That's simple for me. I think it's Eric. He secured the dragons when he needed to be. He was around in mid lane when he needed to be. He really pressured the Lee Sin early, stopped him from being able to do anything.
level 2 was when that started. Yeah, it was just an insane amount of pressure from Eric.
I just think without
me-
Eric's early game performance, that would have been an extremely different game.
I do have to give honorable mentions to Dot and that Azir. Some of these Emperor's Divides that came out were hugely, fight turning, where it meant that they couldn't get to Edica Thief, they couldn't get to Dot, and they were just free in this back and just pump out so much damage. So yeah, I'd at least give credit there to Dot. I mean, credit to the whole of GOTR because they all played very well. For the side of MU, how are you feeling on this one?
Side of MU, maybe Digester. I feel like all
I
of
don't
them
understand
probably
the lack of
underperformed.
stacks.
Okay,
They
I
didn't
don't
stack the
perform,
minions
I don't
for-
understand the lack of stacks in top lane. He never chose to stack, and it just meant that when they got to the later game and they actually needed someone to be ahead, he wasn't ahead because he saved it for the pressure in lane, which can be fine, but I don't think you need the pressure in lane into Ornn. it's an Ornn. In terms of the jungle, your Lee Sin didn't really manage to get anything done early. He didn't manage to get any really nice kicks late game. So, to give it to the lead, Tacitberry played pretty well in the mid game. Actually finished the Morellos, though, when it's not very useful, really. Send me the invite. Oh, it's full. In terms of the bot lane, I think Monocle was caught out way too much. And I think that in terms of the support position, you could have abused that matchup a lot more. So it's very hard. I might give it to Tacitberry.
It's a difficult one to say, isn't it?
Tacitberry, just because although the build's a bit questionable, I think overall he did quite well. I think, honestly, if the build had been on point, he might have carried that game.
Yeah,
because a lot of those shockwaves would have just straight up one-shot two of the members of GOTR if he had actually built correctly and not finished the Morellos. If he'd gone straight for either
the void, the
death cap or a void stuff.
Something else. I mean, yeah, we saw, I think it was the last dragon fight, where there was like a 3-man shockwave into the dissonance, and the damage was underwhelming.
He got close to killing two of them straight up with it, but
he didn't. But imagine if he had itemized, it could have been two of them straight away dead.
Yep. Morellos, only finish Morellos if you need the anti-heal.
Or if you've got no other items to finish.
Yeah, I mean, if it's your 6th item. Well, I mean, if it's your 6th item and you don't need the anti-heal, should it be your 6th item?
Maybe
realistically?
Not. It's nice to have extra magic pen. But yeah. I think the magic pen options
at that point,
are
Leandries, if you don't have Leandries, get Leandries then. It'll give you more worth in the long run than the magic pen will from Morellos. Also, how have you got the one mirrored on GOTR?
How have I got the one? I hadn't even noticed that. That is impressively bad.
Quality.
High quality stream, by the way.
High quality stream.
High quality stream. Right. We will be getting into Champ Select real soon, I think.
Hope so.
We do hope. We've got to have another 20-minute pre-game chat about the teams, because we did our pre-game chat.
What do we expect to go differently this game? I mean, just... I don't know, it felt like MU were on tilt after the Wukong ended up jungle and that.
I feel like MU have to respect GOTR now.
Not even that. Just turn name tags off and play as if you're playing your actual elo. Just stop assuming you're against bronze players, for God's sake. Like, some of the plays were just so questionable. It's like, that's the kind of... Sure, it's a scrim, but that's the kind of thing you do if you're, like, smurfing an iron. Because you know the guy's not going to be able to press R in 3 seconds after you jump on him.
Yeah, there was some things I didn't agree with. I've actually just seen this. We do have one player swap on the side of MU, so it looks like we got Tasri. Who are we missing? Looks like we the jungle
coming in for jungle position. Is that it?
Yes, I think so. Because the Juster was top, Monocommon was AD carry, Gavanar was support, Tasri was mid. So yeah, we've got a new jungle for MU. Maybe it's what they needed. Because there was, I mean, it was unfortunate, but Young Wuhan did get, shut out this game straight away. Also important to note, he's normally an AD carry player from what I looked at his profile.
I think the Wukong pick was just, like, honestly, great pick. And what do you pick into it? You could just pick any other tank top lane, to be honest, and choose the losing top lane matchup rather than choosing Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath, you forced them into putting Wukong into the jungle, and then you picked an AG jungler who wants to fight early into a Wukong. Like, what?
There was I think maybe comp identity is something that MU also need to think about as well. got ready checks going out in chat, so hopefully we'll be getting to Champ Select real soon.
I'm hoping it was just
First game.
they just assumed they would win by default and thought they didn't need to try at all, and now they'll actually put some thought into what they're doing.
Yeah, both things ready. We'll be getting into Champ Select so that I can once again actually remember the Champ Select music. Oh, no,
yes.
there's a not yet. There's a not yet come out every time. Every single time. I'm like, right, I'm ready. I've got my music. And I played, okay, then I play the other music and they got the now. It happens. I feel like they're just listening and being like, oh, no, stop, is she ready? No, stuff like that again. Right, into Champ Select. Here we go. Got the new Champ Select music. GOTR. Yes, GOTR is 1-up against MU. So we go into game 2. Do you expect any respect bans from either side? Based on last game, that is.
I'm not sure I would expect respect bans so much as normal bans from MU that they would expect to ban against teams of their sort of level. So Kassadin's a fine ban again, but I expect if you're not planning to pick the Caitlyn or you don't think you need the Caitlyn, you ban the Caitlyn. I would expect Caitlyn to end up being first picked if no one picks it or no one bans it.
Yeah, the Caitlyn, honestly, Edith had a really good performance on that. So, props to him. And we do see that Kassadin ban going straight onto Dot once again. Might see an Azir ban coming out, considering how well he performed last game.
Yeah, and I don't expect any sort of blind pick Leona shenanigans this time.
Yeah, the blind pick Leona because they saw the Morgana ban was a bit. Also, I forgot to take those off. I forgot to take those off. Yeah. Yeah, we do see the Caitlyn ban coming out as you called as well. Attic Thief did have that. Just quality performance on that. And the Morgana ban coming out again. Is this saying, MU, pick Leona again, we dare you?
I don't know. It's a very strange ban in my eyes. Potentially just it's Gaminal's most played champion or something.
I did scout.
We can have a little,
not really.
Have a little look. Maybe they just really, maybe they just tilt when they see a Morgana. Like,
yeah, we actually see the first pick Jhin come in for Edika Thief. Jhin, one of his most
fairly
played.
Strong champion.
But I'm surprised to see a first pick.
Not a very mobile ADC, of course. Give you a quick rundown on what happened. I would say, sort of GOTR slightly outdrafted in terms of the jungle. They got a very good matchup. I expect MU sort of tilted. I would hope that's them on tilt. And sort of did not have any respect and kind of bled out the game.
Yeah,
like GOTR played it well, sure, but
lots of mistakes come from the side of MU. Yeah, it was a very good early game played. Props to Eric on that Wukong for that. And it felt like MU just sort of crumbled and crumbled and crumbled in that first game.
Yeah, if you turned off the nameplates and asked me which team was which, I would have swapped their positions.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we do see the Senna locked in as, of course, the flex between the AD carry and support. And Sion locked in for the Juster. Was banned last game. I didn't get to scout out the Juster because he is one of the substitute players that's come in.
Lazy's picked up the Rakan pick Lazy really likes. So, sure.
Yeah, Wukong is actually open still again, so we might see that Wukong pick as... chat as well a little bit. We will see what GOTR prioritize. Obviously, Lazy Panda liking this Rakan right now. And, I mean, it worked out from last game. So...
very strong team. Top lane pick.
Yeah, Maokai locked in for Natsuki. Obviously saying...
Tom, they're picking a very safe bot lane.
Now, what I want to point out, Gaminal, his most played champion this season is Tahm Kench. 248 games.
Ooh.
So obviously knows his way around Tahm Kench. And also usually plays it with a fasting center, not starving center. Yeah, Boozy plays it with a fasting center, so that's how I'd expect to see MU play this.
So that's the respect ban out for the Wukong, which is interesting. They're
And
also
for
banning
the
out the
Azir. I don't blame them. Both Eric and
telling-
Dot had quality performances on both Wukong and Azir respectively last game.
Are they telling him to pick Silas? We're gonna see a Silas game from Dot? So far, I've only ever seen him play Azir.
We've seen him play Rise and Corki as well, I think in the time we scrimmed them.
Wait? No, the time we scrimmed him, he played Azir both games.
No, it's definitely a Rise. There was definitely a Rise.
No. That's they played Rise in a scrim against another team, I think. Or it was.
Regardless, we know he plays Rise. And we do actually see the Twitch being picked away. No, it's just a hover. Betting me with a hover. Now, I was going to say picked away, but I forgot Jim was picked. Edify's been playing lots of Twitch lately, which is why
Volibear's repeatedly nerfed, but they're just picking it as a strong early game jungler. They're saving their counter pick for mid this time, deciding, obviously, Tasbury thinks he can win the mid lane.
Yeah, so
I'm not too surprised he was winning that Orianna pick.
Yeah, so Azir into Orianna is not fun.
And I think Dot played... Well, Azir into Orianna kind of depends on how they both play it. I think Dot made some mistakes in the laning phase, so he's thinking he'll be able to punish him a lot stronger if he gets that counter pick. We
will see. Dot is going to go for... It's given him the last pick at least. We do see the Trundle locked in for Eric. Eric plays a decent amount of Trundle, called the Rise. 67% win rate on that Trundle this season. And yeah, Rise for Dot. Now,
strong team play pick. Not too abusable. I'd expect to see this to be their super hyper carry mid laner that they're going to play hard around.
I really thought that was going to be an Nivea lock-in then.
Cassio.
Yeah, Cassio locked in for Tassadbury.
That's not too surprising. They've got a Tarm to keep Cassio safe. They've got a center which can heal Cassio. Sion and Volibear can provide... They can provide very decent peel for this Cassio. There's no one that can really zone her.
I really like the Cassio pick, because if you look at the side of GOTR, the team itself is generally quite low range. Most of my eyes are on Dot on the Rise, which means that Cassiopeia ultimate is going to be able to catch them. It's because, okay, so a lot of the times when we see a Cassiopeia pick, you'll see it, and it's picked into something like, let's say, Azir or Caitlyn, and it's people that, like, if you're that close to a Cassio as Caitlyn, that she can ult you with that Petrifying Gaze, you probably deserved it. But yeah,
so
I like this to abuse the generally shorter range team of GOTR.
Build-wise, I would expect Sion and Volibear's builds to be tank. Let's not give the Trundle some free stats that might help him kill Cassio. Let's just build full tanks so that the Trundle has to run into tanks and the Jhin can't kill our front line.
Yeah, this is a tough game to play Jhin into. With Volibear, Tarm, and Sion. Matched with probably a center who I'd be expecting to pick up Frozen Mallet, isn't it? We're seeing centers play a lot of recently.
Depends. AD center now you tend to see going back more towards the lethality route. So I'd expect to see maybe Duskblade into some sort of armor pen. And it just works to sort of break down that front line. More like a traditional AD carry, but one that doesn't actually need to build crit. An interesting point actually is that in terms of finishing your Infinity Edge compared to finishing any armor pen generally works out a lot better for you. So it'll be interesting to see if Monocle actually knows this. Whether he decides to build that Infinity Edge as his second, third item, or if he goes for the actual armor pen. I'd expect the armor pen because you want the executioners definitely into this team. Into Rakan, Trundle, Maokai. This is the team that Morelos on Orianna, I would have been like,
would have been a good item
that
to
makes
finish,
sense.
yes.
I can see why you've built it.
Thinking about, so, overall draft and gameplay, how are you expecting... let's start with GeoChalk's blue side. How are we expecting Geo2R to play this?
I think Trundle probably is not going to be super aggressive early. He's going to be there as the counter engage to try and stop Volibear being able to get any early map plays. Sion into Maokai is a little bit of a skill matchup. I don't really expect much to be happening up top lane.
Yeah.
I think you'll mainly see things around this mid lane because Tarm Senna is a very safe bot lane. And especially when you've got a Rakan Jhin being played into it, I don't think you're going to see any kills down there unless Rakan Jhin really screws up and manages to kill themselves somehow when Volibear ganks.
I would actually really like to see a lot of pressure from Geo2R put into shutting Tassabury out. Because, I mean, as it was brought up in chat, without that Cassiopeia, MU is lacking a lot of damage. And if we've got that Trundle who's able to steal stats from, say, the Justice Scion or Gaminar's Tahm Kench or even Kazan's Volibear, he's going to be unkillable for just Senna.
You do have to be very careful about that. Senna can provide some interesting amounts of burst damage. If she's not got onto and manages to stack well, you can actually be in trouble. It looks like Glacial Augment and Exhaust. This Senna's going to be peeling for herself. Sort of as expected, the Tarm's probably going to be peeling for Cassio. Tarm does have Halo Blades. Ignite. They're looking for an early kill in this lane.
Yep, so just swapping around these teams on that UI.
Well, they're looking for Tarm to either get an early kill in lane or for Roams help him get the kills.
That just says MU. There we go. Yeah, so...
What else? Jhin has Dark Harvest. Okay.
Maybe a bit more confidence from Geo2R this game?
That's a rune. That's a rune you can take. Yeah.
It could be confidence,
sure.
Could be a mistake. Let us know, Etika Thief. But yeah, we do see...
Against the Tarm Senna, both of who can heal, it is an interesting choice.
Yeah, so I think the Hellblade's Tarm is just for the quick ability to either stun or eat. So it's 3 attacks with Hellblades, right? And you need 3 stacks to eat someone.
I've not seen Tarm in a while, but I don't think your Q stacks anymore. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, are in the
Game
game
wasn't
now.
loading properly. Yep.
Just whack us into time. And here we go. Order out MU because they don't do that for us in the lobby. There we go. So, ping's coming out. It looks like GOTR are going to be looking just for the counter. They're pinging that bush just by red buff. And looking at MU looking like a fairly standard fan.
Yep. I don't think they're going to be trying anything. I'm in a Scrims where you try something if you want to. Really.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yep, it does look like it's going to be Fasting Senna. Do you see both support actions being picked up?
So, interesting. So, this is probably coming off the back of the very recent builds where you go double Spell Thieves because both of you are able to form about 4 minions a minute, which works out to be about 60% of all of the minions anyway. So you both end up getting a large amount of gold. So potentially this is the kind of pointer for it. You both go that support item and you both do the build, or maybe they just didn't talk about it and both bought the support item.
We'll see. Maybe they can pull it off. I have to say, I'm quite glad we're not seeing a Lux Sona. As for wards, so looking at the side of GOTR, they just get that ward on their own blue buff and Wraith Camp for MU. On the flip side, MU just warding the ramp in their own Wraith Camp. So obviously just not wanting to be invaded. Yeah, a good point from chat. Tasbury starting that Q on Cassiopeia over the E.
It's a safer start for if Dot manages to get level 2 first, because he's got the Phase Rush. Q on Cassio does give you a bit of move speed. And I believe in terms of damage, it's a lot more than E early. We've seen engage in bot lane.
Yeah, Actually, they found going for this engage, getting that knock up on to Monocleman.
Monocle's
Lots of damage
very
out. The Dark
low.
Harvest for Edithief. Exhaust Force, but that crit puts him down to under 100 health. Edithief
What
actually going to
exhaust?
use that cleanse on
And
the
Edicus
stun.
should be dead
Exhaust
here.
going down. But Flash from
Oh,
Lazy
nice
Panda to block
beautiful flash from Lazy.
the tongue from Kamal. There's every summoner except Monocleman's Flash being used.
Oh, and
do
here we see the volley bear coming. They don't
Kazan
know he's
coming down.
there.
Do
There's
see
no summoners.
actually an engaging top lane, but I'm gonna keep it pan to bot lane as we do see Kazan going in, getting that stun onto Lazy
Stuns
Panda,
Lazy.
and then finish off Edicathief. Finishes, and we're gonna bounce to this top lane where we see the first blood did go down onto Jujusta. Natsuki very low, but not going to fall.
Does manage to get the kill.
So that's an early kill onto Natsuki and onto Gammonile. That was they did it again where they pick, it was like, okay, nothing happens, and now something's gonna happen same place at once.
Something that happened everywhere on the map. So we can see here, Trundle is going for the invade, taking the red buff, knowing that Volley Bear's on the bottom side of the map, so he's just going to pick up the scuttle.
The Juster is there. Does get the ward. It's going to be smited away. He is very safe. Tassabury was ready to walk up, but
where he
absolutely
goes.
safe.
And Volley's deciding to go for the gank rather than the invade.
Yeah, we do
Dot,
see
though, is very far
hovering on
back,
this mid lane.
probably
Dot's standing
safe.
a bit far forward. Is forced
Gets
to
the
flash
flash.
away.
That's a free flash. You take those. Dot, for some reason, was hovering around the bot side of the map when his jungler's top. Yeah.
And we knew
just a classic
Kazam
mistake.
Was, but we do have the on-the-way pings coming out from Eric into this mid lane. Tassabury is pushed forward.
So you can see it. That's
Root
it is
coming
on
out.
the bottom
Decent
side of the
damage
map where
actually
his
from both
jungler
sides.
is.
Looking at the 2v2, Eric is healthier, but Dot is actually looking pretty low. It looks like they're going to
Volley Bear does a surprising amount of damage, although there's double buffs on Trundle. I wouldn't be sure
He's got
who would
pressing
win
attack
that.
as well, so it's a lot of deceptive amounts of damage actually coming out this early on. See, I was going to talk about something before all this like action happened, and I've forgotten what it is, and it's genuinely bugging me quite a lot. Like, I had something on the tip of my tongue, and it's still there. Actually, Kazan, okay, it's going to spot out that pink. What was I going to say? It's coming around in the spot lane again.
So it looks like they're looking for the nice trade from Natsuki actually. It looks like they're looking to try and get their bot lane ahead. They think Tassabury's gonna just be able to win on his own. He's pushing in that lane, of course, so not much
Yeah,
going to
it
happen
does have
there
that
anyway.
just prior right now, just because Dot has no mana, and Tassabury has managed his a little bit better. But actually, you see Lazy Panda gonna walk straight
Nice
into Kazan, but a flash stun onto Edicathief will have him falling a kill onto Monocleman.
There we go.
A much
just-
better early game performance from MU this time.
Yep, they've identified where they think the weak point is, and they're hitting the weak point.
It was interesting to see that Kazan just ignored Lazy Panda. He walked straight past him and was like, no, I'm going to flash onto Edicathief, shut him out the game.
Yep, Edika's a lot of an easier kill than the Rakan, who's very slippery. And also, he's the one that wants to farm the wave, so if you can get him off of farming the wave, that's great.
Mhm.
And you can see there's actually a freeze going on here in the bot lane. They're trying to get those minions down far enough. But
Yep,
that's
there's
a lot that's being
5
lost.
casters there, so that's actually a slow push into the bot lane. But yeah, other things to note up. Edicathief has spent 150 gold on potions.
Oof.
It's
That's gonna hurt.
unfortunate, especially for this early on in the game. For how this lane's going, wouldn't have been surprised to see a refill picked up. Just because now that Monkomon and Gammonile have this just pressure over them, I'm expecting Edicathief to back off and base far more often to get those resets on the refill. We do see Kazan is in this mid lane, not going to get smited to
And
slow down. The stun
Dot
coming
does
out,
not
but
have flash.
the
That is a
miasma
dead
is there
Rakan.
to hold him there. Tassabury picking up this kill. Where was this MU last game?
Like I said, they just were playing as if they're playing as people that didn't know how to play the game. That's what it seemed like they were doing, and this time they've brought in their new jungler who's being extremely aggressive early. It's not being shut out early. We see the difference when you're playing around your jungle well.
I like how your little monologue there equated to jungle difference.
Well, it's more laners not respecting the jungle difference. This is one of those games where laners will say jungle difference, and it's like, okay, but if you don't ward, if you don't respect the enemy jungle, it's not my fault that you keep dying to them. I can't be in all 3 lanes of the map at the same time.
That is true. She has some very heavy trades coming in this top lane. neither has mana, so I know this isn't going anywhere.
Yeah,
First Dragon is an Infernal. Once again, I think this is fairly free for MU to take at this point, just because of where GOTR are right now, looking at itemization. Although, actually, looking at it, it's 2 tiers on either team, so actually just not a lot of damage at this point in the game. I think is tier Jin a thing? I'm not too well versed on AD carry, but is tier Jin a thing?
Tier ADC is a thing right now, just because of the sheer amount of AD power it gives you when you have it fully stacked. Jin probably is okay at stacking it because he can sort of, in some way, span down the traps.
I mean, yeah, as you can see, the traps are all over this lane. But he hasn't got the tier quite yet.
It's not the build I would expect, but I wouldn't be horribly surprised to see him build it.
Yeah, we do see Kazan is starting this dragon. Edic Thief has spotted him. Is there really anything he can do to contest this? Not really.
Bot lane doesn't
It's actually
have
going to be pushed away
priority.
there.
Tacid's given up priority in mid lane to come down and help there. So yeah, nice stop there from GOTR. But I don't really expect
but the
to get
root
anything.
landing onto Edic Thief is cleanse
They get
forced.
cleanse.
But actually, the root go back on Gaminal just turns
Lazy's
into a heavy trade where the
re-engage
cleanse is
misses.
used. Eric actually coming in with that frozen ground.
Gaminal's in trouble.
Flash coming out from
Flashes.
Gaminal, but Kanzan is hit. Both
Double TP.
teleporting in. The ultimate coming out from Kanzan. Edic Thief's going to flash away.
Exhaust
Panda
used.
looking low. But in the 4v4, it's looking like it's pretty calm. Natsuki going to get rooted as soon as he teleports.
And just Natsuki's TP there was
And
way too
nothing
late for
came
anything
out of that.
except for Dragon.
Yeah, so to just it does shove that wave, and it is going to be GOTR's first dragon. It's an Infernal.
Just is going to take his free plate, probably push another wave in and back.
Yep.
Get his
looks
free
like he's actually going
small
for the
advantage in the
second
top lane.
plate here. Yeah, if we look at gold, it's going to be less because Natsuki did get that kill, but he is still 200 gold ahead of Natsuki. Plating gold is worth a lot.
Plating
and 20 CS.
20
Yeah,
CS.
2 platings and 20 CS, so just want to get another one, so he's now currently 400 gold ahead. Nearly 500 if we do some quick maths. But yeah.
Of course, MU are 1.5k gold ahead altogether. Interestingly, most of that's on the support. Because of how your farming goes, you have a 1k gold lead on the Tarm. I suppose really you should be comparing Tarm to Jin.
Yeah,
So about 600 on Tarm, we'll say.
But then
and
there's also 400,
about 400
between Lazy Panda and Monochrome on that.
400 on Monocle.
So, okay. GOTR invested a huge amount into that first dragon. Was it worth it for an Infernal?
Your team comp, the Trundle becomes awkward to play with later on. The rest of your team comp's kind of okay, but eventually Senna's gonna easily outscale your Jin. I would prefer Cassio into Ryze usually. It's hard to say. It's not like either team really wants this has this win condition that they need the soul, so it's just nice to have a Drake. It might matter
It
later
felt like they
on.
invested too much. But regardless, they got it now. Next Drake is going to be a mountain, so once again we're going to see either a cloud or an ocean. Not exactly the same as last game, that doesn't happen very often. But yeah, we come back to this very calm bit of the game. Natsuki
Basically,
actually did close out that top CS difference by a decent amount. There's about 10 only now instead of the 20. Everywhere else looking fairly even, of course, on comparing Edic Thief to Gaminal's Tarm Kench. But actually, we're here to see the Kench ulting behind, bringing in the Volley Bear. Lazy Panda is going to keep them charmed for as long as we can. Monochrome leaving Edic Thief
fail
to
ult from Volley.
get away, but the flash from Kazan
Flashes
into the
forwards.
smite will
Might
stun him, but
going for
Monochrome actually
Monocle. Monocle
forced
has
the
to
flash
flash
away
out.
from Edic Thief.
Good turn from Medica. Doesn't amount to much, but yeah. So what I was going to say is you've got to think of it in terms of what do you actually get for the Drake. So you use your TP for that Drake. That's the TP used, and then you also lose about 2 waves of minion
platings
in your top lane, and you lose 2 platings. Is that worth it? Probably not. not when win conditions not the Drake for either team.
It's unfortunate, but it is done now, as we said. Honestly,
Let's see. Natsuki's struggling now in this matchup.
yeah, Justa's just got so much pressure. Actually, it could possibly be a kill here. Justa doing decent amount of damage. Natsuki not really got a lot of mana left to deal with this. It's looking like
Yeah,
he's way fine though.
Justa essentially has quite a bit of XP up, and also that extra null magic mantle. And when Maokai's so heavily indexed in magic damage, that's a lot.
Yeah, it does make it a rough lane for Natsuki.
Tasberry not quite able to dodge.
Actually, that slow could get Natsuki in trouble. Does get hit by the knockup as well. But it's going to be left fine. Justa
Slow trades.
just
course,
keeping his
Maokai-
lane presence, not going for the kill instead.
Maokai just needs to auto something, and he'll heal back.
Do you see Eric in this mid lane looking for Tasberry here? I think he's looking for somewhere to put this Herald down.
Miasma just is Miasma.
Punishing
Rise
a little
out.
bit. But with this wave, yep, Herald going down in this mid lane.
Shouldn't be able to get anything from this
No,
really.
we
They
just won't
get
get
to
the
the
tower, but
plates.
plating gold's always good. But we did see in this top lane, Kazan is there. Justa does ult. Natsuki is left to die. Unfortunate. Just staying in that
Yep.
lane in which I
That
would
might be
expect Justa to
first
solo
tower
kill.
top.
Yeah, actually, only 2 platings left in this tower with Demolish as well on Kazan, on Justa even. And with that wave crashing in now, this is looking like the first tower will be going over to MU. Although that extra armor before platings have gone, it does make it a little bit slower. But
You do get gold onto your rise in the mid lane, which is useful.
But yeah, this
That is
first
true.
tower, 330 gold each for Dejusta and Kazan. And that pops a bounty onto Kazan's head. Solid performance on that volley bear. So, next dragon is spawning in about now, as I just pressed for the objective timer there. It actually looks like GOTR are positioning into this
Looks
straight
like we're
away.
running it back with the dragons. We've got
Yep, everyone's
Another
actually running in, going for that
Infernal into
reset.
mountain. Eric's just trying to sneak it straight up.
Yeah, they don't have vision, but Monocleman is stepping up.
Monocle's in
Does
trouble
get that vision
here.
in, but there's a pink ward in the
Eaten
pitch
over the
for
wall.
GOTR.
That's a
Actually,
lot
Lazy
of
Panda gonna get
cooldowns just straight
stuns
up
there,
used.
but Natsuki's ultimate is gonna root almost the whole team of MU. Ping's
They
coming out on that
have
dragon
some
from
time. They
GOTR.
can see the
Nice
health.
shield coming out from the ultimate coming out from Kazan, but charmed straight away by Lazy Panda. Blue
Nice
team will be
secure
getting
by
that
Eric.
dragon. And Gaminal is there trying to zone of Edic Thief, but a lot of damage actually Lazy Panda falling
That's
to
a
just
tier,
on the
though.
side there. Natsuki's stuck in the middle of this team, but Gaminal is keeping the Edic Thief out of this fight as the rest of his team just
Just
pressure onto
tanking
Eric
the
as
rise.
well. And Gaminal still is only Edic Thief out there. Fight changed completely. He is looking like he's gonna fall, but Monocleman is there to help him out. And they just didn't have the damage. They were essentially 4v4ing, and it was actually the exhaust coming from Monocleman.
Yep,
leaving Eric
you
Thief there.
not that strong on Senna yet. You've gone the tier build.
But yeah, just a very well played from MU in general. But yeah, props to Gavinal there for just keeping Edic Thief away from the fight.
So Senna is on 47 stacks. She's getting these stacks up.
How are tiers looking? So we got how much on the center? 136, 432 on the Casio, 400 on Dot in the mid lane. And it's actually just turned out to be a Mana Crystal for Edic Thief, opting for that pickaxe over buying that tier, which honestly I think he needs at this point. The pickaxe
So
was the wiser
you
choice.
tend usually when you're playing the ADC, you'll go a pickaxe before you go the tier now because of the extra laning presence it gives you, especially when those dragons are so important. Giving up tier, you basically give up your lane until you get something else. So that pickaxe is just extremely helpful.
And there we go, he's fully upgraded now, so we'll be able to start stacking that tier. Now, he taking some
Also-
unfortunate trades there.
Yeah, the stacking of tier as a base item is pretty atrociously bad. So there's not much sense. It generally just works out way better to get the pickaxe and then tier because it barely delays you at all.
Yes. 850 gold you could put into that pickaxe and then actually have that. Actually, Gaminal running towards that Edic Thief. Getting
That's
that
the
stun.
randoms.
Cleanse came out too early, actually.
early.
And now rooted Lazy Panda in the middle.
is in a lot of trouble.
Actually, will be trying to
Jumps
ult
into
back
the
in.
Tom's mouth.
Gives Gaminal a free meal there.
Dejusta might
Yeah, ulted
in
in that
trouble.
top lane. Eric taking a lot of tower
But
shots, but
no.
now Natsuki's in trouble. Natsuki used that teleport into the top lane, dodges the root coming out from Natsuki, and the Miasma will hold him in place.
Natsuki.
But is actually going to get away alive, looking about just under 100 health there.
Overall, trades in the favor of MU.
Yep, Tasbury doesn't have vision in that bush where Eric is recalling.
You
He's
see, I feel
actually
like
coming out.
they're playing a lot more respectfully this game. They're playing as if they can't just roll over their opponents, which
I mean,
looks a lot better for
Yeah, it's
them.
working out so much better for them. We're 17 minutes in, and they already have, it's not quite 4K goals, about 3 point something ahead of GOTR.
Nice sidestep from Tacit.
I actually didn't catch which soul we're on, so on the oceans, yeah, exact same dragons again. Actually, engage from Lazy Panda. Kazan is there, ready.
Yep, because
It
I was
just
there
results
for
in another Dark
disengage.
Harvest for Edikathi.
Just might be in a
Eric?
bit of trouble, but
He's 3
He's
levels
a-
up on Eric, so it's going to be a tough kill for him.
he's a Scion.
Doesn't
if Eric
have any
gets
mana.
the kill here, he might just die.
No, he's left to get away. I'm expecting a tower dive bottom. We do see Kazan does have that ultimate ready.
Yep.
Edikathi from
Looks
Lazy
like
Panda. Yep, spotting him
sniffed
out.
it out.
Actually, a
I can see him
TP
on the ward
coming
over the
in
wall.
from Natsuki. And actually forcing his
Ult out
ult
from
away,
Kazan.
but Dot is there
Dot
ready.
flashes. The curtain
Ultimate's
call might
coming
pick
out.
up Kazan here.
Actually, the root from
Doesn't have a
Dot
way out.
does hold him still, and then
Ooh.
Dot will finish up the kill.
This'll
Lazy Panda's getting
voyage
a
in.
double knock up onto the bot lane of MU.
It was a nice try from MU. Abyssal voyaging in to eat him over the wall.
But it was a
But
nice
in the
turnaround from
end-
GOTR into that tower dive.
They don't quite manage it.
All of
So,
that
yeah.
within a minute of Dragon spawning. Although that should be enough for all cooldowns minus Kazan's flash. I think Dot's flash as well. And we also Natsuki's teleports. Yeah. So a couple of fairly big summoners used there. Do you see that Herald popping into the mid lane? That will finish that tower off. I would have held that and not wasted the first charge on the tower there.
Depends
think
how
quite see the
easily you
timer.
think you can actually get that first tower.
It does look like they're
Mid,
not going to
it's
get the second
extremely
charge.
important.
Yeah, not quite going to get the second charge. Yeah,
It's
with the
extremely important
demolish.
for pressure just to get that first tower in mid, but
But it does
you
look like
could have
it gives
waited a little bit to put
GOTR
that down. Buy yourself some
position.
time.
to start this dragon. Yeah, they're gonna go straight away onto this dragon, and yeah, MU don't
Kazan
really know.
is
Kazan does
gonna-
step up. An ultimate from Monocleman, not really doing a whole bunch there. It's just on this top side. Yeah, not a whole lot they can do. GOTR now on soul point.
MU have not been very fortunate with these Dragon Souls. 2 oceans in a row when they've not really had the early dragon pressure. Unfortunate for them.
They've got 5 minutes to get into this game, and they pretty much have to fight for this next dragon. Giving the Ocean Soul over to Natsuki and Eric, just huge.
It's
They're
more
gonna be
that
so hard to kill.
they'll very much struggle to kill the Maokai. That's the problem they have if this soul goes over.
Especially once he picks up the item's gone from me where you.
Spirit Visage, where you heal.
Nah, I'm thinking of the item that reduces damage from actually reducing engagement spot lane. Charm coming out. Lazy Panda going to dash away. Talk about items when this spot lane engage is happening. Curtain call. Yeah, not gonna do too much when Aquaman is there. Body look like Gaminal.
Gaminal just blocks it all.
But yeah, we're not actually done. Lazy Panda gonna get rooted, but Eric is there straight away.
Gaminal's in a bit of a bind here.
We do see teleport coming in.
TP coming in from GOTR.
Binatsuki, from not even. And Tasabri there getting a nice
Oh,
2-man
beautiful
ultimate.
ultimate.
Edika Thief gonna get away on a
Edika not-
sliver of health, and then gonna
Gets
turn around
out.
root the root Cassio on the Tassadbury on that Cassio. That was more of a tongue twister than I expected, but we're actually gonna flip to this top lane. The Juster ults for Kazan and Natsuki.
Monocle is dead here.
Dot will finish him off there.
So,
Whew, a lot of action going on.
just the big difference that's happened over which team seemed to be winning the game. It's
Yeah,
always
it
whichever
seems
team
to
is ganking bot lane. It almost seems like bot lane is where these teams have been focusing, and that's what's really been getting them into the game.
Yeah.
We
Although-
noticed as soon as MU stop ganking the bot lane, things start going badly for them. There was
yeah,
that one
Kazan was
tower
trying to
dive they
pressure top
attempted,
lane there, but it just didn't go anywhere. Natsuki's too hard for them to kill.
Also, Digesta could be using that TP a bit more aggressively.
Edica Thief. Gonna get stunned by Kazan, but it's only Gaminal there, but it's a lot of damage coming out. He's gonna root Kazan under that tower, but Gaminal will eat him away there.
Just keep your volley nice and healthy. I mean, that's something. It's not massive because there's nothing up really that you're going to use that for. You don't have a very quick Baron. Cassio's great at taking it, yeah, but none of your other champions are.
I think big things to notice right now, Cassio's finished stacking that Seraphs. Dot actually has picked up a Void Staff, which, you know, good pick up considering Digester and Kazan's itemization there.
Paralyze as well as
it. Ooh, Eric, caught into one room, is forced to flash away.
That's the flash. That's big, actually. We'll have to see how they try and play around the flash cooldown being down.
Does look like they're just going to go for a reset straight away. Dragon spawning in just another 2 minutes. Of course, Baron is up, sitting there, waiting. Neither team putting too much priority on, you know, vision around there. We do have a bit of vision from GOTR in the top side jungle, but not crazy. But actually, if you look at MU's vision, it's generally quite poor around the whole map still. It's been a common theme for both games.
Yeah,
and I know
usually
it's your point to bring up vision, but
interesting point. When you have a fasting Senna, you'll notice generally your team's vision score goes way down because ADCs forget that they have their warding item. You can actually see Senna's sitting there on 2 yellow wards and 3 stacks of her
the sickle.
Sickle.
Oh, actually, we do see Mokuman and Gaminal. We have Lazy Panda coming in with that charm. Gonna land onto Mokuman. Exhaust landing, but teleport coming out from the Juster.
No, it's
it's coming out from Tassabury actually. But Mokuman is already looking almost dead.
Juster is TPing now.
Is stuck, but Eric is now into a 4v3. The ultimate is gonna land on to Eric. He's gonna fall down now in a 4v2. Lazy Panda falling. The Juster and Tassabury, huge teleports, turning that fight around to 0 for 3.
And yeah, they get there eventually. Unfortunately, nothing's really up. They could set up for a nice dragon off of this, try and get another kill, maybe.
Have another disconnect from Lazy Panda. Possible pause gonna come out. Nope, reconnect straight away. Cool.
See no mind.
But yeah, we do see his dragon spawning real soon now, and it's looking like it's going to be going over to MU. Eric is only just spawning now. The dragon's in 6 seconds. Can he get there fast enough? Luckily, Lazy Panda is back in the game quickly enough to contest.
You can give this up. Throw a sapling over the wall, but
yeah, they're going to pull it out. It's first dragon for MU, so GOTR definitely can give this up.
Yeah, you don't need to kill yourselves for this.
Yeah. Delays that soul for 5 minutes for GOTR. Or possibly more, depending on how MU play the rest of this game out.
It was a really nice time to play from MU, or rather, it was a nice attempted time to play from GOTR that MU turned vastly into their advantage due to TP advantage. GOTR not keeping track of their
neither
opponent's
Dot or
TPs there.
Natsuki had teleport available for those. Oh, and Natsuki did teleport even though it was Dot that didn't have TV available. But yeah, we're sitting 2k gold lead now for MU. It's looking like Baron is actually going to be hovered by both these teams.
Yep, Cassio's moving towards that Liandry's. The Haunting Guy's pickup is very big. Liandry's is even bigger when she gets it. Fully stacked. She will absolutely shred. And that is probably one of her scariest points in the game, with the Ryleys, Liandry's, and Seraphs completely finished.
Yep. Other items to note of, we do see that Monocoman did pick up the Execution Schooling, which, you know, with Ocean Drakes and, of course,
not too surprising.
This
Maokai.
Is interesting ultimate from Natsuki, not going to catch anyone out there.
Bit of a desperation play, it feels like, but there's no reason. Maybe just fishing for it, thinks it'll be back up in time for any sort of...
Yeah, the cooldown is pretty low. It's already a quarter of the way through right now, so if they play this slow, Natsuki's ultimate will be up and available.
Ooh, Monocles.
Actually stepping out.
Ooh,
actually, flashing on to Tassabury there.
Flash is too early.
Shield used for the mana, but
Tass is dead.
Popped by
Tass
Dot
is down.
Gaminal's down. Edica caught by Kazan on the side, but the rest of the GOTR are pathing towards him.
Just has to walk up to this fight. He's got a long way to come.
You do see the bot lane of MU just taking a decent amount of damage actually. They're Dot chunking at this point in the game with that void
Rise
stuff.
damage.
We see the root going on to Dejuster. That's going to get rooted in turn with Bonusman, but the stun from Dejuster is going to hold him in place for long enough. Does have to put that ultimate with the Unstoppable to get himself away there, but Kazan is in the backline going for Edgar there, going to get the stun onto him, but the cleanse coming out straight away. And Edgar going to get out alive. We're actually going to see Eric dropping straight away, but the rest of MU just falling.
They get Dot.
And it's Dejuster still alive. GOTR just not pumping out enough damage. Only Edgar Thief alive on side there.
Baron.
And Natsuki just holding Dejuster and Gavin but doesn't do the damage. 5-0 for MU. Quite a messy fight, but it works out in their favor.
Messy fight, very nice turnaround from MU. They managed to play it out well. DOTR can't quite pull themselves together. They fall apart a bit at the end of that team fight. They don't have their target selection quite down, so Volibear is able to just kind of stay alive in their backline.
Yeah, so Kazan and that Volibear was just constantly pulling Edgar Thief away, so they just didn't have the damage from him on the side there. But GOTR never came to support him.
Dot was trying to kill Monocle in the backline, but he was the only one attempting to do it. Monocle just walked backwards out of the range of the Rise Qs, and then he wasn't doing any damage anymore. I think if Dot had actually just focused on Kazan, who had jumped straight into them, they could have easily won that fight. Yeah, he has a lot of magic resist, but
Dot's got the void stuff. But yeah.
I'm not sure if he had the void stuff.
Did you see? Yeah. Leandri, void stuff was having to finish that fight. It was finished before the Seraphs.
So, yeah.
Leandri's is finished by Tassabury. Just looking for other items. Actually, you see Edgar Thief stepping a little fast forward.
Picked up.
Kamenar is just going to slow him down, and Edgar Thief stands there, accepting his death.
Also worth noting, Monocle has the 100 center stacks, so we're up to the 75% crit point.
Other thing to notice is Monocle also has 3 stacks still on that sickle. I'm hoping that's a spectator bug. For the sake of... there you go. It's gone down to 2. It wasn't a spectator bug. But Dog going to step too far forward. Going to get eaten. And just the damage from Monocle.
It's still a spectator bug. If you hover over it, you can see he's actually placed 3 out of his 3 wards that you can place. Oh no, that's...
Unknown
how many wards he has on the map. That's how many wards he has on the map. He has 2 wards left in stock, yeah.
So... It feels like GOTR are actually going to get stunned from Kazan. Eric taking a huge amount of damage. But the shield from Lazy Panda will keep him alive.
Something I do want to note is, yeah, Monocle hasn't picked up Blue Trinket yet. You can basically have all 3 trinkets on center. It's Fasting Center. It's one of the great things about playing Fasting Center. You have your yellow trinket on your support item. You get the Umbral Glaive for your red trinket, and then you just get the blue trinket as your actual trinket, and you have all 3.
Yeah, obviously it's a lot of things to say with that yellow for now. Second Drake is going to go over to MU. Are we going to have a reverse sweep of dragons? Is that a thing? A reverse dragon sweep?
We could do. Senna's at the point where she's really online as a champion now. She's got the Umbral Glaive with the Mortal Reminder and the fully stacked Mirror Mana. So those are the main things that she'll be building. What she builds now is sort of up to her. So we'll see what Monocle decides to build as the final item.
Yeah, she's got a dagger. It's kind of hard to tell too much from there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was some sort of anti-burst.
Ultimate coming out from Dejuster. It's Edgar Thief once again stepping too far forward and running into the tower, trying to accept his own death, but Kazan is there fast enough to pick up that kill participation.
So, yeah, there were no wards. If you look, no blue side wards in the river at all. Just pushed way too far up. A champion that should not be pushing.
We've seen engage here from Lazy Panda catching out Gamenar, but the root from Monocle is actually going to catch Natsuki. And now decided they don't want this play anymore as Kazan shows up, gets the second root onto Natsuki. And there's just nothing that GOTR can do to help him out here.
Pick a fight without either of their 2 main sources of damage. even if Gaminal is off on his own there, at best you get a flash, or he just
Once again,
kites for long
Lazy
enough for
Panda
his team
looking
to get
for a
there.
pick here, gonna step away instantly, seeing the rest of MU turn up. Tower's falling, gonna be an engage straight onto Attic Thief, cleanse pop, but he's gonna be absolutely one hit by that Monocleman. And this is just MU's fight to take. Eric's just having to back away. Dot doesn't output enough damage, gonna get rooted by Monocleman here. He's catching Lazy Panda as well, and that's the entire side of a GOTR falling. Inhibitor going down.
Game.
And most likely will be game for MU.
Yeah, that's game. Dejuster can tank the towers if he really needs to.
Yeah, that's next tower number 1 going, and a surrender actually from GOTR.
Edic Thief not at all happy about that game in the chat. Yeah, so what went wrong from GOTR there was, yeah, Edica got caught quite a few times just on the sideway lane without any pressure, no vision. Got collapsed on. There were a few slightly messy team fights on the side of MU. Pretty well played, apart from a few slip-ups in the early game where they gave up a few dragons because of plays that technically probably shouldn't have gone the way they did.
Yeah, it felt like GOTR had this early game and, you know, got to Soul Point, and then things started to fall apart a little bit. And it felt like Monocleman and Tassabury had just come online. And, I mean, props to Kazan as well. Just huge
Pulled them through the early game. Knew that he only had to build full MR with health because Jin is not great at killing tanks. You can actually see that Jin never managed to actually upgrade into the Mirror Mana.
Yeah, is that actually how many stacks he got there? Doesn't tell me how many stacks he
we
got.
can't see. But
It's a shame.
yeah, quite unfortunate. Jin's not the best at stacking it, but yeah, I would have hoped when you go for your first item, you'll have it stacked by 30 minutes.
Yeah, 32 minutes in is unfortunate. MVPs, because we can't not do MVPs. We'll start with winning side, MU. Who's it for you?
Ooh, MU. I mean, there's a few people that really stood out to me to having played this well. I think Monocle actually played very well on the center, despite getting caught a few times. A lot
Only
of the
died once.
positioning was actually, yeah, exactly. A lot of the positioning and recovery was actually very good from him. Tassabury obviously did very good on the Casio, managing to be where it needed to be, but I think Kansan really pulled them through that early game. His build was what it needed to be in the end of the game. The fight around the around their red buff, especially when he got into the back line, quite honestly might have just saved him the game. He did lose some smite fights, but I remember Junglersaur is going to lose smite fights. That's the nature of why
Can't
they're
win 'em
called
all.
a coin flip.
Cannot win them all. But yeah, props to the whole of MU. Much better
Gaminal
performance.
as well. Yeah. I mean all of them. Like
Yeah,
we're not singling anyone out.
The whole
just...
of MU played so much better game 2. Props to them all, because I'm getting through that early game. Honestly, one of them you picked up on it yourself about how, you know, constantly caught, but always managing to, you know, recover and survive. And actually, let's have a quick look at this damage chart as well. Yeah, doing an insane amount of damage, top in the game. It's actually a Monocle.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Monocle.
Cassid actually being the least on the team on that Cassiopeia. Obviously didn't quite have that time to be Cassiopeia. How about from the side of GOTR? Gonna flop over to the damage graphs once again.
From the side of GOTR, well, I mean, I think you're gonna either have to probably give it to Natsuki or Dot in this game. I don't think you particularly give it to either of the bot lane. I don't think either of them had a standout performance. Eric, although he did secure the dragons, I don't feel like he managed to really get anything impactful done, which you would want from your jungler, especially something like Trundle. You'd hope he would at least be forcing a few flashes. Natsuki played completely fine in the lane, played fine in the late game, did what he needed to. Honestly, I'd probably give it to Natsuki. Dot was a bit out of sync in some of the team fights with the rest of the team. You could see points where he was going for Monocle, where he was the only one that could reach Monocle, and he wasn't going to one-shot Monocle, especially not with a Tarm standing next to him. So I think overall I'd give it to Natsuki for that game.
Honestly, for me, I do want to give props to Lazy Panda as well. I think there was some, quality engages. One thing that really stuck out to me was when they came for a gank bot lane, Lazy Panda diving in and holding 2 of them in the quickness. I can't remember the actual name of his ult, but I'm going to call it the quickness for now. Keeping them charmed for as long as he could, giving Eddie the best chance to get... It's actually called the quickness. I thought I was just Freak making a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, giving Eddie Thief the best chance he could to get away. I mean, unfortunately, Kazan did have the flash available. But yeah, it really just stood out to me, I think, Lazy Panda, that game. But yeah, I have had G2R confirm to me that was the last game. Is there any
2 block scrim.
final
So
words?
I
Anything that
suppose, what do we
sticks out for
think
the teams?
the teams... Well, it's a scrim, right? So what do the teams think that they can work on from the scrim? I think on the side of MU, right, you have to take a look at that
Vision.
early game plays around the dragon, especially... Yeah, I thought their vision game
Vision
was
game
very...
wasn't too
so-
hot.
So considering they have 2 diamonds and I think it was 3
Let's look at Vision
high
score, shall we?
gold that game, it was...
Vision score.
I was sort of surprised at how low the vision generally was.
Yeah, so just looking at Vision score in general,
I mean, it's all right. Like, it's not bad, but
I think there was just a lot. I think
when-
maybe it was
when
just
you
the times
looked-
we were looking at the map that it was just
when you looked at the
unfortunate.
map and you would want them to have vision, it felt like they didn't have it at the points you would want them to have it.
Yeah, I think maybe that's a point to look at. And aside from that, maybe just respect your opponents when you come into the game. Not quite sure what happened game 1, but it felt like we were just casting a completely different team game 2.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. In terms of what GOTR can have a look at, I think the team fights when it got towards the later game were a little messy. I think you can work on that. Even if it comes down to you have one person as a shot caller who calls literally who you need to be on, that's fine as long as you're on the same people. Because I think you would have won that game, actually, or you would have won the fight around the red buff had you all been focusing the same person, especially when you have the Void Staff on the rise. Sure, you're into full MR volley bear, but that extra damage would probably have helped you smash through that volley bear before he could get his W healing and the insane amount of healing that he gets from Wit's End off.
Yeah, I think what stuck out to me about GO2R, I keep saying 2R, which I'm just going to keep going with because it's just what comes off the tongue. What stuck out to me about GO2R is that sometimes it felt like the team fights were always had to be forwards. And it was, once you step forward, there's no stepping back. But if we flip to that top fight above Baron near the red buff, they needed to step back and get Kazan away from Edgar Thief because he just kept coming back in and being like, pressure on this Jhin. You can't do anything because I'm a volley bear in your face.
Boop.
And it felt like, they needed to step back and be like, okay, let's, abandon this fight for now or, actually pressure onto this volley bear.
Realize you don't want to walk into a small space against a Cassio. She'll press miasma.
That is also true.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, you can see the people are confirming that they were just trying stuff, which is fine. That's what the scrim's for. It did. Yeah, I feel like even if MU were trying stuff in that first game, it did feel like they just were sort of disrespecting quite a lot. Even then. Volley has to go complete jerk. Ooh.
From a random guess, I think that might be the Twitch account from one of the other players from MU. Just giving off the CGs.
What do you mean?
I mean, yeah, totally not.
No.
But yeah, unless you have any final words. Yeah, thanks to both teams for letting us cast today.
Scrim.
Thanks for playing. Shouts to Eric for contacting us to cast this. If you want to check out Gavin, he streams sometimes. Maybe not recently, but he does.
I mean, if ever Mir's not around to do a scrim or whatever, it'll be on my channel instead, so there's that. I'll let you choose if you want to allow that one.
Sure, that can go through for now.
Yeah, so everyone can now screenshot that and have it on file.
Yes. But yeah, go check out Gavin. Just stream.
Well,
It has an
at some
underscore. I
point.
spelled that wrong. Forgot the underscore. That's...
Wait, yeah, send them to the right channel. What do you mean?
It has an underscore. I think Streamlabs. Yeah, there we go. But yes, I obviously stream here. Most of it is pretty much always casting now. But yeah, thanks to everyone for coming. We will see you. I think next guaranteed is Sunday. But if any teams have scrims in between, hit us up on Discord.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Discord is literally Gabblit, so symbols. I'll be in the ESDL server.
Yes. But yeah, we will see you guys. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye.